separate from his office, right? They're two separate things, the Secretary of
Yes.
State and a campaign. So hopefully you'll get the Secretary of State on to explain why he is running for governor here in the state of Georgia. Peter Haralambous is going to join us from ABC in just a couple of minutes. As Judd mentioned, President Trump is meeting right now with King Charles. Pomp, circumstance, a carriage processional through the grounds at Windsor Castle as President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump meeting with the King and Camilla. What's her official title now? Queen Regent?
She's actually considered the queen now, so she is considered Queen Camilla.
Queen, not Queen Regent or anything, just straight up Queen.
Just queen, yeah.
Not the Dowager Queen or anything.
Well, no, dowager would be something different, yeah.
Anyway.
Too much Downton Abbey.
Yeah, exactly. So President Trump is meeting with King Charles, an extended visit, unprecedented visit. Again, his second state visit. We'll see what comes out of this politically. If you know anything about King Charles, he had been in the shadows of his mom for decades, and his pet project, Deborah, was climate change. So I wonder if he is going to, get in President Trump's ear about that, or if there's not going to be any political talk, or it's just going to be Russia, Ukraine. But a lot of pomp and circumstance going on right now in the United Kingdom. We'll update President Trump. I suspect at some point we will hear a press conference from a world leader and a king. I don't know if we can consider King Charles a world leader. Maybe. The head of the monarchy. Anyway, that's a big story developing. I do want to update. We're going to go live to Utah in just a little bit to get an update on the Charlie Kirk assassination. But as we previewed yesterday in the show, there was a big press conference yesterday at 2 p.m. after we got off the air from authorities and the district attorneys in Utah about what exactly they know about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. ABC News National Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman has the latest.
Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray outlined his case against the suspect, linking him to that single fatal shot of the 31-year-old husband and father of two.
Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son.
Prosecutors say the suspect's father then got Robinson on the phone.
When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate.
The suspect also allegedly telling his roommate he'd been planning the attack for a little over a week.
Yeah, so we got the list of the charges. Interesting, Deborah. One of the charges was, obviously it's murder, and we heard from the Attorney General saying he is going to seek the death penalty, and I'm sure the feds are going to seek the death penalty. But one of the charges was risk of injury to a minor because there were kids. Yeah, so I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I thought for sure murder charges would be there for the suspect, but it looks like they were adding whatever they can. Here's more from the Utah Attorney General yesterday.
He slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several other individuals beside Mr. Kirk, including the questioner who was standing directly in front of Mr. Kirk. Children were visible near Mr. Kirk's stage when he was shot.
And the Attorney General went into more detail about the evidence they had gathered. We knew a lot of this already because Kash Patel was basically tweeting out, and he said yesterday in a statement that there was DNA evidence that was found on the rifle, the cartridge, the towel that was wrapped around the weapon used. But again, I don't know which way is this case going to be asked, and I'll give the Attorney General credit. He answered a bunch of questions after the press conference, but really wouldn't give more details. Wouldn't tell us if the suspect is cooperating with the investigators, if the suspect's family is cooperating with investigators, or if the suspect's roommate/love interest was still cooperating with investigators. So there was no comment from the Attorney General on those questions, and one of the most important questions he wouldn't comment on. And I get it, you don't want to spoil your case by giving the wrong answer at a press conference. He was asked multiple times, is this a lone wolf situation, or will other people be charged in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, whether aiding and abetting right? We heard from CNN or CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum yesterday about the Boston bomber. A couple of other people were charged with aiding and abetting because they, inadvertently hid evidence or obstructed justice. So the AG was asked about that yesterday. Is anyone else going to be charged? And he said no comment. I'm not. I'm going to let the investigation go and see where it takes us. But good on the Utah AG out there. But he was steadfast that he is going to seek the death penalty. But gave a lot of no comments to some of the questions. But I'm glad he was out there taking questions. We'll continue to monitor that situation, of course. Any new updates throughout the day here, we'll bring them to you on 95.5 WSB. Kind of lost in the courtroom drama yesterday. Lost was the courtroom drama yesterday because we've been so hyper-focused on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Kind of like on the back burner was the other assassination we followed this year, the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO. Luigi Mangioni's court team was in court yesterday in New York City covering that big story. Joining us live from ABC News, our good friend Peter Haralambous. Peter, good morning. As always, thanks for your time.
Morning, Mark. Thanks for having me.
I know everyone's been talking about, it's fresh in our mind, the Charlie Kirk assassination a week ago. But Luigi Mangioni and his attorneys in court for the first time in months. What happened in the courtroom yesterday?
Yeah, a New York judge yesterday really upended this entire case against Luigi Mangioni. He dismissed the top two terrorism charges that Mangioni faced, basically taking off the table the idea that Mangioni might face a mandatory life sentence if he's convicted. He's not out of the woods yet, though. He still faces a second-degree murder charge, which carries about a 25 years to life sentence. But realistically, the ruling really marks the most significant legal victory for the 27-year-old since he was arrested last year.
And as we reported yesterday, we were starting to get details while we were still on the air. The New York judge tossed terrorism charges against Mangioni. What was the justification from the judge of saying this isn't terrorism?
Yeah, so the judge really just differentiated this between political violence and terrorism. At least in New York State, if you look at the terrorism statute here, to be convicted of terrorism, you need to prove that the person had the intent to intimidate or coerce either the general public or a specific group of people, for example, healthcare executives. In this case, the judge agreed that Mangioni himself might have been motivated by a certain ideology, a certain dislike of healthcare companies, but the evidence presented thus far didn't necessarily show or prove that he was trying to send a broader message with this. It was more private grievance, according to the judge, that he was airing, though the judge did conclude that there was clear evidence this was a premeditated murder.
What's the court case look like moving forward? I mean, I would assume, and this might have already happened. If it has, I apologize, that Mangioni's attorneys are going to ask for a change of venue. What's the timeline of the trial? Anything on the calendar yet?
Yeah, so Mangioni faces both this state case and also a federal case where he's facing the possibility of the death penalty if he's convicted. Neither of those cases have a trial date just yet, but there are a series of hearings scheduled for December that will kind of determine the fate of both of those cases. I expect in December that we'll probably get a trial date for that federal case. Separately, Mangioni's lawyers are really trying to get another win here. They're arguing in December to knock out some critical evidence that could be used against Mangioni. The judge set a series of hearings for starting on December 1st. If Mangioni is able to get that evidence precluded, that includes basically what law enforcement calls his manifesto, that could really increase his odds of success when he goes to trial.
So the shooting happened in December of 2024, and these hearings are set for December of 2025. Is this taking longer than normal, Peter, to get through the court system?
In a way, this is taking longer than your standard murder case, but in a way, the judge acknowledged this in his decision yesterday. He noted that this wasn't your standard, instance of random violence on the street. This was a very politicized instance that, is a complicated case in a way. So the fact that this is dragging on, the fact that it's probably going to take it about 1.5 to 2 years to actually get to trial is expected, but unusual for a murder case here in New York.
Is Mangioni still being held in that Brooklyn jail where Diddy was?
That's exactly right. Him and Diddy continue to kind of share the same building. Mangioni, though, appears to be faring relatively well. He receives upwards of 100 letters a week from his fan base. Apparently, he works as an orderly, and other than him kind of showing up in court yesterday with these beige prison garments, he looked otherwise in good spirits.
You mentioned the fan letters he's getting. Obviously, for some unknown reason, This suspected assassin has been made a cult hero. A lot of money, I think, donated to his cause. That being said, who is representing Mangione? Is this a public defender or is this a high-profile defense attorney team?
So at this point, he has one of the most high-profile defense attorneys in New York State. He's being represented by the same attorney who represented Diddy, actually, Mark Agnifilo and his wife, Karen Agnifilo. These are both kind of influential and important defense attorneys here in New York. And the reason he's able to afford that, in part, is that fundraising effort. He's raised upwards of $1.2 million since his arrest, and he still has that very active fan base. I showed up at court yesterday around 6 a.m. I found about 36 of these supporters, mainly young women, kind of really eager to get inside and see Mangione. At the same time as the hearing, there was a protest outside with his supporters. They cheered once they heard the news that these top two charges were dismissed.
Unbelievable. Peter Haralambous, ABC News. Peter, always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks so much, Mark. Take care.
All right. I wanted to get that because, again, I forgot that was December of last year. That assassination took place. But obviously, just a week out from the Charlie Kirk assassination, that has been the main topic. But I didn't want to get lost in the shuffle. I still can't. I can't believe he is an idol to some. Mangione, that is. That's absolutely nuts. So more court hearings in December. This isn't going to trial till 2026, and who knows what is going to happen there. But good stuff there from Peter Haralambous. All right, we are going to go. Speaking of the Charlie Kirk assassination, just got confirmation. We're going to go live to Utah in the 10 o'clock hour, get in-depth coverage. I really want to know what the folks are thinking in Utah that witnessed this horrific assassination. So we'll check in with a reporter in the 10 o'clock hour live in Utah on that. Right now, we got to get a live check of the roads, looking at some delays on the south side of 285. Hello and good morning to you, Mike Shields.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Saw this time yesterday morning, and they're back at it again today. 285 eastbound, the outer loop rolling closure in the left lane, a slow rolling closure starting at I-675, and they're going to work their way to I-20, and that is really causing heavy delays now on the south side perimeter, starting behind the work crews as they work their way to I-20. Speaking of delays, still have them on 85 northbound out of Fairburn through Union City, bumper to bumper, leaving Sonoya Road exit 61, getting up to I-285, where we had a long-standing crash that is now cleared. This report is brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Hey, Georgia, remember you can play Georgia Lottery games from almost anywhere on any device. Go to GALottery.com and click on DigiGames. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember it.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Scott Slade here from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but not sure when you're going to be able to get it into the budget? FGA Roofing is offering a 000 offer this month. 0 down payment, 0 interest for 12 months, and 0 monthly payments. Search FGA Roofing for a free quote today.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Here's what you'll get at Wolfpan European Auto Repair in Roswell. Honest pricing, factory-trained certified technicians, and real car lovers working on your Porsche, BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz. Just search Wolfpan Auto Repair and see the difference.
I hope that the foresight and the wisdom that have made this session a success will guide these leaders and the leaders of all nations.
47 years ago today on WSB Radio, that was President Jimmy Carter announcing the end of the Camp David Summit, the successful ending when Egyptian President Anwar Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin signed the framework for a Middle East peace agreement. That was 47 years ago today. We will update the current situation between Israel and Hamas a little bit later on in the broadcast. A couple of issues that could impact your wallets. Let's start with the folks out there that are getting Social Security checks. First of all, I'm glad you are going to get them. I'm dubious that me, Deborah, Longoria, I know Vinny's never going to get them. There's no way Social Security is going to be solvent by the time he's a senior. But if you are getting those Social Security checks in the mail, they're going to stop coming via the United States Postal Service, Deborah.
Yeah, Treasury Department's going to stop issuing any type of paper check for tax refunds, Social Security, any type of government, reimbursement that they're going to have. And it's actually going to end at the end of the month. So September 30th is the last day. Electronic payments, obviously, a little bit easier. They're saying they're less susceptible to fraud. But a lot of people are worried because some older generations aren't completely all digital yet. They still kind of struggle with it. So there's a phone number that you can call and kind of set things up. And not everybody has a normal bank account. So they're offering like a debit card that you can reload. That's another way that they'll do it. And then there are some special waivers. If you live in a very rural area, if you have some type of mental impairment, or if you're older than 80 years old, you can apply for some exemptions. But pretty much everyone else has the end of the month to make sure that goes over to some type of digital account.
Now, here's where the younger generation has to step up, because I'm assuming there are folks out there, you mentioned 80 years or older, that 90 years old, that don't have, any computer knowledge or digital, access. So if your parents or grandparents are of that age and they've been getting those Social Security checks in the mail, you've got to step in and help. Otherwise, because if you don't do that, they're not going to get those checks. And I know a lot of folks live by those Social Security checks. So it's on the younger generation to make sure your elders, and it doesn't even have to be a family member. If your neighbor, your elder neighbor, ask them, hey, do you know about this? Do you get your Social Security checks? Don't ask some random old person on the street. That's weird. But if you know them, I've got a neighbor at the end of the block. She's got to be in her mid to upper 80s. I'm going to ask her, hey, did you know this change is coming? Because that could cause horrible chaos for an older person, especially living alone, and they live Social Security check to Social Security check, and all of a sudden they stop coming. So that's a big story. One more financial story, Deborah. Our credit scores as a nation are falling. No surprise here.
Average American credit score has dropped by 2 points from last year, so it's down to averaging about 715. And everyone's blaming this on rising credit card usage, missed payments, and then student loan delinquencies. And a lot of people have said because of inflation, just things are so much harder to pay for that everyday expenses like groceries are having to use credit cards just to make ends meet.
Wow. If you haven't checked your credit score in a while, you can get it for free now. Just go to Clark.com. Clark Howard's got an easy process for you to get your credit score and find out if you're okay. You don't want any surprises if you're going to need to use that credit. All right, so a couple of big financial stories there, Deborah. Judd's got your news, weather, and traffic in 3. When we come back, we're going to preview former CDC head Susan Menarez. She's going to be on Capitol Hill, what we expect to hear from her. Kash Patel is going to be back on Capitol Hill. We'll recap what went down yesterday with the FBI director. And, I haven't even mentioned it yet, 5K day bonus blitz. Chance for you in $1,000 coming after the 10 o'clock news right here on 95.5 WSB.
We are here with CFP Matthew Decker of the Vincent Financial Group and host of Retire ATL. And Matt, you have created a 20-question guide that asks the pointed and sometimes uncomfortable questions about where you stand in retirement. And you have to ask yourself, who is your guide?
That's right. Who is your guide? We sometimes think of retirement as like a mountain that you need to climb. And if you're going to ascend the mountain, it's important that you have a guide that has been there before, who has helped other people accomplish the same task. And we've seen that this is so important. There's so much value in the financial planning world. But if you don't know what's accessible, if you don't know what questions to ask, if you don't know what kind of value you should be receiving for the fees that you're paying, oftentimes you don't get it. So we created this guide to ask those questions and really point you in the direction of the type of service, the type of value that you should be receiving for the fees that you're paying if you're engaging a professional money manager or financial planner.
All right, so Matt, how can we get our hands on this 20-question guide?
We want to make it as simple as possible. So you can call us at 770-280-1488. All you have to do is tell the representative that you're looking for our 20-question guide. You can also go to our homepage, retireatlradio.com. You can send us a note there. Just let us know you're looking for the guide. We don't need your email address. You don't have to create an account. It's not protected by some kind of paywall. This is something we want to provide to you for free so that you can know, am I getting value for the fees that I'm paying? It's complimentary, created by us here at the Vincent Financial Group. Again, 770-280-1488. Ask for the guide, or you can go to retireatlradio.com.
770-280-1488 or online at retireatlradio.com. And join us for Retire ATL every Sunday right here on WSB.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Judd Hickenbotham. News this half hour brought to you by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Our top story, we are about 30 minutes now away from the start of the U.S. Senate hearing for the fire director of the Atlanta-based CDC. Dr. Susan Menarez is expected to give her side of the story about her termination at the hands of Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
She will tell lawmakers that she was fired for, quote, holding the line on scientific integrity. According to prepared remarks, Menarez says she was let go after refusing to fire career officials and pre-approve recommendations by Secretary Kennedy's controversial new vaccine advisory panel.
Correspondent Nicole Killian says Menara is also expected to warn that if that panel is able to vote this week during its meeting here in Atlanta, it could lead to reduced vaccines for U.S. children. HHS accuses Menarez of trying to sabotage the current administration. It is currently 70 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says, look for partly cloudy skies today, high in the upper 80s. Some of us could see a pop-up storm later on today. After some of us got wet this morning, Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Just 24 hours after former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan enters the race, current Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announces he is also running for governor.
I'm a conservative Republican, and I'm prepared to make the tough decisions. I follow the law and the Constitution, and I'll always do the right thing for Georgia, no matter what.
That announcement this morning, Raffensperger promises to lower taxes and crack down on crime. He joins a Republican field that continues to get more crowded. Already includes Attorney General Chris Carr and current Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who has already been endorsed by President Trump. Speaking of lower taxes, lawmakers under the Gold Dome get an update today on plans to eventually eliminate Georgia's income tax. It's the second hearing by a Senate study committee. It's considering several different strategies. They'll hear today from officials in other states who have managed to eliminate or drastically reduce their income taxes. They include officials from Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. New numbers show traffic deaths have fallen so far this year across much of the U.S., including right here in Georgia.
After a big spike during the pandemic, federal officials are encouraged to see the lowest number of fatalities since 2020. A new report from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration finds approximately 613 lives were lost on Georgia's roads during the first half of this year. And while that number is in the hundreds, it is still down more than 13% from the same period last year. And that's 5% better than the national average. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
And the battle between Hollywood and artificial intelligence just continues to grow.
Disney, Universal, and Discovery are suing China's Minimax in Los Angeles federal court for copyright infringement. The studios allege the company's artificial intelligence tool replicates the Minions, Wonder Woman, and Darth Vader without permission.
Reporter Deborah Rodriguez says the suit looks for up to $150,000 per infringed work. It claims the defiance of copyright laws hurts both the film industry and the creative community. It's 9:33 as we check your money, and we are just a few hours away from the likely announcement from the Federal Reserve that it will be cutting interest rates for the first time this year. Wall Street opening this morning, Dow is up about 0.5 percentage point. S&P is up as well, just slightly. NASDAQ is down slightly. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. We start in the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Mike Shields.
And traffic troopers tell us crash now clearing 75 southbound as you approach Glade Road and Old Allatoona Gateway just past Old Allatoona Road. Slow out of Emerson as you make your way into Ackworth, but that crash now clearing and roadwork set up just south of that. That's going to cause delays through Kennesaw this afternoon into Marietta. 75 southbound getting past 575. That's in the left lane. And watch out for a left lane rolling roadwork 285 eastbound the outer loop between I-675 and I-20 in DeKalb County. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with an isolated rain shower or thunderstorm possible, high 87, lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with an isolated rain shower, high 88. Friday, mostly sunny, high near 90.
67 degrees right now in Palmetto, 69 on Lake Lanier, 70 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
All right, thank you. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Oh my word!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 10 a.m.
That's the sound of President Trump and King Charles in a horse-drawn carriage at Windsor Castle. Coming up next, we'll check in with President Trump in jolly old. And the former CDC director is going to be on Capitol Hill. What she might say next on the Mark Arum Show.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of
businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Scratching, scampering, and scurry noises in your attic? You've got squirrels. Hey, it's Mark Aram here. Better get Breda Pest Management to kick them out before those squirrely scoundrels start running an Airbnb in your attic. Those squirrels not leaving without a fight. They'll keep coming back, chewing new holes over and over again. Under the Breda Wildlife Guarantee, you stay protected and at no additional cost.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Lyle Lovett and his acoustic group. The four-time Grammy Award winner, singer-songwriter. September 28th, Atlanta Symphony Hall. Lyle Lovett and his acoustic group. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. An unforgettable night with Lyle Lovett and his acoustic group live.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Just search FGA Roofing to get started with a free quote today.
Say it loud, say it clear. Donald Trump's not welcome here.
Oh, not all jolly in jolly old England. Some protesters there outside of Windsor Castle where President Trump and the First Lady meeting with Queen Camilla and King Charles, the unprecedented second state visit of President Trump. We will continue to monitor what's going on. If they have press conferences, we'll try to get some audio, but a really important thing. Did you see this story, Deborah, though? That on the way to jolly old, is English Nick going to be offended that I keep saying jolly old? I like that phrase.
You know, English Nick is now an American
I
citizen.
know, it's crazy. But anyway, I don't know if you saw this story, but I don't want to call it a near miss, but there was a flight irregularity when Air Force One was heading to England from the U.S. Things got a little tense on the ground as President Trump was flying to London Monday night. Air traffic controllers urgently and repeatedly ordered the pilots of Spirit Airlines Flight 1300 to turn away from Air Force One. CBS transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve has the story.
1300 traffic's off your left wing by 8 miles, 747. I'm sure you can see who it is.
Preliminary flight data from Flight Radar 24 indicates the Spirit Airbus A321 was briefly flying about 8 miles in parallel distance from Air Force One, but the closest the two jets came when they were on a converging path was around 11 miles. That is in no way what the FAA would consider a close call by any means, but it was closer than air traffic controllers wanted the two planes to be.
Yeah, that audio from liveatc.net.
1300 traffic's off your left wing by 8 miles, 747. I'm sure you can see who it is. It's flight level 320, maintain 330.
I'm sure you can
Keep
see
an eye
it
out
is.
for him. He's white and blue.
That's crazy. I mean, gosh, can you the Spirit Airlines is going through enough stuff right now. And there was another piece of audio where they were like the air traffic control. Yeah. Oh, let me play this. The air traffic control is like, "Hey, wake up, Spirit."
Pay attention, Spirit 1300, turn 20 degrees right. Wow. Spirit 1300, turn 20 degrees right now.
Right now. Goodness.
Spirit Wings 1300, turn 20 degrees right immediately.
Immediately. Like, that's crazy. I wonder if the pilot was like in the bathroom or something, or that's crazy. I mean, not a near miss, right? 8 miles is still 8 miles. I'm sure the pilot's getting reprimanded by the folks at Spirit. Speaking of airline pilots, coming up after the news at 10, Emma Hertz going to join us from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Pretty big story involving our hometown airline Delta. So Emma's going to join us after the news at 10 with that story. Speaking of our hometown, Sanjay Gupta famously lives in Atlanta. He is CNN's medical correspondent, previewing what we might hear today from Susan Menares, the ousted CDC director. She's going to be on Capitol Hill today.
Yeah, a lot of people do want to hear from her and sort of hear how she's going to respond to this. The headline here for this committee hearing is that this is an opportunity to, quote, restore radical transparency to the CDC. That is the purpose of these hearings. But no doubt, as you mentioned, Kate, a lot is going to be made of the fact that she wasn't even in the job for a month, I think July 31st through August 27th. So, what exactly happened, I think, is going to be a large part of what happens today. What we expect to hear from Dr. Menarez, based on an op-ed that she wrote and some of the opening remarks that she's already given to us, is she's going to say basically there were 2 points of disagreement. One point was that Secretary Kennedy had asked her to pre-approve recommendations made by this Vaccine Advisory Committee. Now, the Vaccine Advisory Committee hadn't even met yet, Kate, at that point, and not even all the members had been assigned yet. And yet, at least according to Dr. Menarez, she was asked to pre-approve recommendations that she had not even seen, number one. Number two was the idea that she was asked to fire officials responsible for vaccine policy at the CDC without cause. So these are the two things that I think we're going to hear a lot about. No surprise, a lot of this discussion is going to sort of revolve around vaccines. Now, Secretary Kennedy has denied what Dr. Menarez has said. I want you to listen to this because this was an exchange that he had with Senator Warren during his hearing about what happened with the CDC director.
I told her that she had to resign because I asked her, are you a trustworthy person? And she said no. So if you had an employee who told you they weren't trustworthy, would you ask them to resign, Senator?
I mean, that was, I don't know if you saw that, Kate, but that was quite an extraordinary moment. And he sort of doubled down on that. He said, are you saying that she's not trustworthy? He said, yeah, she told me she was not trustworthy. Now, I think Dr. Menarez is going to address that, again, from some of her opening comments today. What we're likely to hear, we got a copy of this. I want to read you this. Regarding trustworthiness, I cannot define that word for Secretary Kennedy. I made commitments to the committee that I would lead with integrity, transparency, and purpose, and work with Congress to maximize health outcomes and protect the American people. She goes on to say that Kennedy told me he could not trust me. So, I mean, this is going to be really interesting to sort of see unfold. I don't know how they're each going to sort of defend what they have said. I should point out as well that, when she was confirmed, it was not contentious, Kate. It was a pretty straightforward hearing. In fact, Kennedy said that Dr. Menarez had unimpeachable scientific credentials. She has a PhD in microbiology and immunology from the University of Wisconsin. So, everything was fine, Kate, until it wasn't.
Atlanta's own Sanjay Gupta this morning. I should mention that this is I believe, going to be the first time we're going to hear from the former CDC director. Obviously, big local ties here with the CDC headquarters being in Atlanta. But we're going to hear, I would imagine, her reaction to that horrible shooting where the officer lost his life outside of the CDC campus on Clifton. So certainly something worth monitoring. That was Sanjay Gupta this morning on CNN. Again, Susan Menarez, former CDC director, going to be on Capitol Hill. Kash Patel is going to be on Capitol Hill again today. Yesterday, some fireworks there on Capitol Hill. Senators in both parties say they still have questions about the Epstein files after questioning Patel in a public hearing yesterday. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio reports from D.C.
FBI Director Kash Patel was asked why Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was moved to a minimum security prison after her recent interview with the Justice Department. Patel said that was a decision made by the Bureau of Prisons. Democratic Senator Adam Schiff did not buy that explanation.
You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates.
Not in the weeds? Director Patel also denying accusation that he's carried out politically motivated firings at the Bureau.
I think the most interesting headline out of the Patel hearings yesterday were the fact that he said that Jeffrey Epstein, who was convicted of sex trafficking or was charged with sex trafficking and then took his own life before the trial, and Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted of sex trafficking, that, yes, they were sex traffickers, but they trafficked to no one. There were no individuals, said the FBI director, that actually were received these underage women that were trafficked by Maxwell and Epstein. There was no no other people involved, which is a head scratcher. Anyway, he'll be back on Capitol Hill today. Some really fiery stuff yesterday between Kash Patel and mostly Democratic senators giving him heat. All right, something totally unrelated. I want to know if this is, I'm going to tell you if this is a smart criminal or a dumb criminal, but it's a unique crime. It's a bank robbing chef, Deborah, a chef that was robbing banks.
Yeah, celebrity chef Valentino Lucan. I've never heard of him, but I'm not a foodie. But he is accused of allegedly robbing 3 banks in one day in San Francisco. Now, he used to work at the Walnut Creek Otavio restaurant, but he walked into this bank, passed the teller a note, and was able to walk out with a stack of cash. And then he went to 2 other banks that same day and did the same thing. Now, people recognized him as he's a celebrity chef.
Wow.
And the weird thing is it's not even the first time this has happened. He did this before in 2018, where he took a BB gun into another bank and was able to get about $18,000 from a Citibank. He's blaming the pandemic for loss of the business, and he's just never been able to recover.
Wow. So before you told me about the story about him in 2018 going in with a BB gun, in my head, all right, successful celebrity chef, why would he rob 3 banks? And in my head, because I've seen too many movies, I'm like, oh, his family's being held hostage. And they're like, we're not going to let him go unless you rob 3 banks for us. But no, he's done this before. That's crazy.
Yep.
Does it say how much he got away with initially?
Not this time. It just says the last time he was able to get 18 from the last one, but it doesn't give me the totals for this one.
18,000?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb. You're a chef. You can always find work. Anyway, that's a dumb criminal. All right, we're going to come back after a quick break, update our top local stories. Reminder, 5K Day bonus splits continues today, my friends. Right after the 10 o'clock newscast, I'm going to give you a keyword, another chance for you to win $1,000 here on 95.5 WSB. In the meantime, in between time, got to catch you caught up to date on the roads on this Wednesday morning. Any current hotspots, Mike Shields?
Yeah, we got a couple of them, Mark. And good news is no crashes. This road work being an inconvenience for you, and it will continue to be that way as long as the barrels are out in the left lane as you leave Kennesaw into Marietta today. 75 southbound getting past I-575. Delays already start back at Chastain Road, and that's before the backup from Ackworth meets up to that work zone due to a crash, long-standing crash that was cleared 75 southbound before Alatoona Gateway. Also rolling roadwork impacting you on the south side perimeter in the left lane. 285 eastbound the outer loop approaching Flat Shoals Parkway exit 48, slow leaving I-675. The support is brought by Whole Foods Market. Save on fall favorites now through September 13th at Whole Foods Market, your headquarters for pumpkin spice delights, all the flavors for fall and more. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
The Findlay Roofing Chief Barking Officer Rufus has the zoomies. He's rolling over about saving you $1,000 bucks off your roof replacement. That's a lot of bones. Hey, it's Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Stop repairing the leaks and dragging your feet. For a limited time, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Nothing warms your home like natural light.
It's time to brighten yours. Add more daylight and bigger views with Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows.
Hi, it's Jonathan and Ted from North Georgia Replacement Windows.
Our windows come with narrow frames giving you more light. Experience the Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass difference at your home or in our new Alpharetta showroom.
Window and door shopping made simple.
0% interest available.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Omaha. Oh, excuse me. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at Xfinity. I am just so pumped for football season returning. I'm practicing my cadence there when I approach the line as quarterback. I love football. I know a lot of you folks love football, but what you don't love is if you're going over to someone's house to watch the game or you're having people to your house to watch the game and your setup is a mess. I'm talking about lagging if you're watching a game on an app or switching between apps, or your friends don't have Wi-Fi that's souped up so they can check in on their fantasy teams. Don't get caught offsides. Don't have a flag thrown against you this football season, and make sure you're on board with the Xfinity family. If you call yourself a football fan, you got to have Xfinity. I've got all the best games all in one place, plus enhanced 4K, so it feels like I'm in the stadium. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But what if you could get both? Why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is Medi-Share. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with Medi-Share, and that's huge, but it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. And we know this from research of members. There's a lot they like about Medi-Share, but especially they love being part of something they believe in. And Medi-Share works, too. It has for more than 30 years. There are hundreds of thousands of members who love having telehealth if they need it. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or you're part of the gig economy or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
We're considered as a threat, but when I look into the field, I see 5 or 6 other teams and drivers out there that can certainly win this championship, and I think it's going to be the best chase we've seen yet.
Happy 50th birthday, racing legend Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie Johnson was born on this date, September 17th, 1975. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Reminder, 5K day bonus splits continues. Keyword coming up right after the 10 o'clock news. Going to give you a keyword. You pop that into the WSB radio app, and you can be $1,000 richer just like that. Deborah's got some prize packs to give away as well. So the show that keeps on giving, that is the Mark Arum Show. Monitoring President Trump's historic second state visit to jolly old, I'm going to stop saying that. It's like a swear jar. Every time I say jolly old, Deborah, I'm going to throw $5 in the swear jar, and we'll have a party at the end of the year. Anyway, he's in England, Windsor Castle. Got an update. The two leaders are going to exchange gifts, Deborah. So the headline is, what in the world do you get the British monarch as a gift? Apparently, this is details from Buckingham Palace. They've revealed details of the presents exchanged between the host and the visitors. President Donald Trump will gift King Charles with a replica of a President Eisenhower sword, according to the palace. That's pretty cool, giving him a sword. Replica, I don't know. Shouldn't you give him an original Eisenhower
He's got
sword?
A lot of swords.
Yeah,
he's a king. He's got swords.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying he doesn't want a replica. He wants the real Eisenhower sword. The sword was said to symbolize, quote, profound respect and serve as a reminder of the historical partnership through World War II, etc. The Trumps will also give Queen Camilla a vintage 18-karat gold, diamond, and ruby flower brooch from American jeweler Tiffany & Company. The president is a thoughtful nod to the Queen's birthstone rubies as well as the First Lady's diamonds. King Charles and Queen Camilla also have gifts for the Trumps. Now, I don't know what protocol is, but I was under the assumption that if the president got a gift that was like over $300, he can't accept it. It like goes into the archives. I don't know if that's still the case or not. Anyway, the U.S. president will be given a bespoke hand-bound leather volume crafted by the Royal Bindery at Windsor Castle to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Trump will be given the Union flag that was flying over Buckingham Palace when he was inaugurated for the second term on January 20th. Charles and Camilla will present Melania with a silver and enamel bowel. Is that just bowl? Bowel. A silver and enamel bowel. I think it's probably bowl. And a personalized handbag from Anya Hindmarch. The Royals will also give the Trumps a silver photo frame engraved with the King and Queen's joint cipher. So I don't know how much those are probably under the acceptable gift amount to give to a president. I don't think any of those are worth like tens of thousands of dollars. I would assume the king gets to keep whatever he gets, though. He's the king. But I know there's some. Yeah, he is the king. I know there's some protocols there. But anyway, we're going to monitor that. The president is over in England, meeting, again, the historic second state visit. He might fly back over Alaska. I'm trying to find a segue here. There is now a new island in Alaska. I love Alaska, by the way. Most beautiful state of the Union. How did Alaska all of a sudden get a new island, Deborah?
A melting glacier in Alaska has created this new island in the middle of a lake that's been growing. So it's now 2 square miles, and it's known as Prow Knob. It's used to be just this frozen area, but, NASA says global warming, this glacier's melting a little bit faster than they thought. So as this glacier is melting, it's created this little island right in the middle of where it used to just be a lake. Yeah.
So it's just going to be another spot for bald eagles to land as they
I guess so, yeah.
Are on the prowl. Interesting. Yeah. So, all right, glaciers evaporating. So we have a new island there. I'd be really concerned, and I'm not blaming rising tides or anything or glaciers melting on anyone or anybody. But if you own beachfront property, that's a risky proposition right now, I would imagine. Even if you can afford the insurance, if you can get it, just knowing what's going to happen. I don't know. I guess it's good to be poor, Longoria, that we don't have beachfront property anywhere. Although your family owns like 1,000 acres in Corpus, so you might have some in your portfolio. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic in under 3. When we come back, keyword in the 5K Day Bonus Blitz, chance for you to win $1,000, and a pretty big local story involving our hometown airline, Delta, kind of getting slapped on the wrist by the United States Department of Transportation. We'll go in depth on that big local story next. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Airman at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
How about this for a 1-2 punch? Get your own natural hair regrowing the very next day and save a ton of money doing it. Mark Aram, of course, back from my friends at Advanced Hair. What makes them different? Well, they combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. This is not a pill or a lotion subscription that helps retain what you have. You want your hair to regrow where it's currently gone. Whether you have a receding hairline, bald spot, or thinning hair, Advanced Hair offers the proven, guaranteed solution that regrows your hair where it's currently gone. Your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, and it's even guaranteed to grow for life. And how about this amazing deal? If you get a consultation, free consultation, by the way, and you move forward, you get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. That's a lot of savings and a lot of hair. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Just search FGA Roofing to get started with a free quote today.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating and Air. Starting this hour, former CDC Director Dr. Susan Menares testifying in front of senators today. The hearing expected to focus on her differences with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who fired her last month. Nicole Killian has more.
Menares will tell lawmakers regarding trustworthiness. I cannot define that word for Secretary Kennedy. I told the secretary that if he believed he could not trust me, he could fire me. An HHS spokesperson says Menares' testimony is inaccurate, adding that she acted maliciously to undermine the president's agenda and was fired as a result.
And we, of course, will be watching. Her testimony comes a day ahead of a two-day meeting of the Vaccine Advisory Panel. They will be considering several different vaccines, COVID-19, as well as those against hepatitis B, measles, mumps, and rubella, also RSV. And again, we'll be watching that hearing and let you know what happens. Your weather for today, partly cloudy, an isolated rain shower is possible, headed for an afternoon high of 87, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. If you're in the car right now, you may want to avoid the area around one busy Midtown intersection from now until the next month.
That's because new sewer pipes are going in all around the intersection of Piedmont and 10th Streets Northeast. Atlanta Watershed Management Head Greg Irely says sewer overflows there, and Uncle Sam mean there's no choice.
We're actually required to do this work by the federal government by a specific date.
Irely says the work means lost lanes, whole intersections, and parking at times, but with big events coming up in the area,
this is kind of our only window to really get in there.
Work is 7 to 7 Monday through Saturday and should be done by late October. Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB.
Another Republican this morning jumps into the race for governor of Georgia.
After 2 terms as the state's chief election officer, Raffensperger is aiming for the top job, promising, if elected, to lower taxes and crack down on crime.
As governor, I'll deliver a bold, conservative agenda and build Georgia even stronger.
In his announcement video, Raffensperger describes himself as a conservative businessman who will always do the right thing. He joins a field of Republicans in the GOP primary, including Attorney General Chris Carr and Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who's already been endorsed by President Trump. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
This is new at 10 o'clock. Roswell police sending out a warning about an alarming and concerning uptick in crypto crimes that are targeting the elderly.
Our detectives are actively working several of these cases, with more coming in each week. And our most recent victim lost over $100,000.
That is Officer Tim Lupo with Roswell Police. He says the scam almost always starts with a caller pretending to be a trusted organization like your bank or Apple. They will tell you your account has been compromised or that you owe a fine. They say the only way to settle the matter is to make deposits into a Bitcoin ATM, and it's an urgent matter. Once the money is sent, it is gone. The warning, beware. J.D. Power out with its annual rankings for the country's best airports.
Here are the winners. Minneapolis-St. Paul International was the top-scoring mega airport, followed by Detroit and Phoenix, also a great airport. In the large category, John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California, beat out Tampa and Dallas Love Field. Among the medium airports for the 4th year in a row, the winner, Indianapolis International Airport, followed by Southern California's Ontario and Buffalo Niagara Airport.
And Chris Van Cleve says Hartsfield-Jackson International ranked 15th when it comes to mega airports. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 284 at 46,042. So the Dow is up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ and S&P are in the red. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. For that, we turn to Smiling Mark McKay.
Good morning, Sabrina. Watching road work on 285 in DeKalb County. Rolling past I-675 is when you hit the brake lights. I see up ahead just before Flat Shoals exit 48. Crews working in a left lane. Left lane's knocked out in Kennesaw as well. I-75 southbound. Right at the 575 split past Barrett Parkway. 75 has struggled all morning long out of Emerson into Allatoona. Still seeing waves of slow traffic from Allatoona Road past Highway 92 exit 277. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy through this afternoon. An isolated rain shower or thunderstorm possible. High 87. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with isolated rain showers. High 88. Friday, sunny skies. High near 90.
It is 70 degrees in Beaufort, 73 in Marietta. Dunwoody has 71 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Wednesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Whole fam with us today. Deborah, executive producer of the program. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Vinny Drip. Low T. Screens your calls. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, a keyword in the 5K Day bonus blitz. Here at Sabrina's newscast, the big political news this morning broke on Atlanta's Morning News. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is going to run for governor, joining a increasingly crowded field. Deborah, you reached out to the Raffensperger campaign, and they told you what?
Yeah, so he's unavailable today. He's actually got a pretty busy schedule,
Sure.
but they'd rather come in studio next week, so we're hoping maybe Monday to have him in studio.
Oh, excellent. All right. So, again, that's the second big announcement this week in the governor's race. Former Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan announced that he's running for governor as a Democrat. As luck would have it, our political analyst Stephen Lawson is going to be live in studio in 30 minutes. He'll break down the race, the governor's race on both sides of the aisle. So very big political stories there to cover. President Trump is continuing his royal visit right now with King Charles. We will monitor that. I want to talk about a big local story, though, here. Joining us on the show from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Emma Hurt. Emma, good morning. Thanks for your time. I read this piece on AJC yesterday, and much like you, I pay a close attention to the airline industry and especially Delta Airlines, and kind of getting, I don't fully understand what is going on right here between Delta and Aeromexico. The U.S. Department of Transportation has ordered Delta and Aeromexico to, quote, unwind their joint venture agreement by January 1st of 2026. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so that means that Delta and Aeromexico, that since 2016 have had a joint venture agreement that gives you antitrust immunity from the government, allows them to work closer than airlines normally would on pricing and capacity setting and really kind of coordinate their strategies together. They are going to have to stop doing that if this order stands as the department says it will. Now, I will say Delta says it's reviewing its next steps. So there's always a caveat, but that is the current situation.
Does the U.S. Department of Transportation give any reason why they want them to split?
Yes, and this has been actually several years of kind of rumblings about this, threats to do so across both administrations, the Biden administration and the Trump administration. Now, it roots to how the Mexican government and Mexican authorities have been operating, particularly at the main airport in Mexico City. In 2022, U.S. airlines were among some that were forced to switch airports, move to a further away airport and take on that cost, which was seen as a big no-no. And the flip side of that was that Delta and Aeromexico have been able to maintain their positions in that existing airport. And so the government is saying that they are getting an unfair advantage given the way that the Mexican government, the U.S. government says, is operating. So it's all about competitive policies and what the government sees as an unfair situation right now.
Emma, if this unwinding order by the U.S. Department of Transportation stands, how could it impact travelers here in Atlanta?
So as it stands, both airlines say nothing is changing. I mean, there are the loyalty sharing, rewards sharing agreements that travelers really interact with themselves are independent of a joint venture agreement. Those predated to 1994, really, is when Aeromexico and Delta first started. Code sharing is what you call it when you can, get your points across to airlines. And so theoretically, not much, but in terms of the strategic growth of Delta and Aeromexico's route network together, this can have a big impact. I will say, however, Delta has a 20% stake in this airline, in Aeromexico, and that is, the government is not forcing them to get rid of that. So the two will remain close should this stay, but they won't be able to coordinate in a joint venture like Delta does with many other of its partner carriers.
Interesting. Emma Hurt from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. So for the listeners out there that sometimes fly Aeromexico, they will still get Delta Sky Miles for those flights.
They will, and both airlines say that nothing about their routes are changing at this time. However, I will say in the comments that the airlines filed to the government earlier this year protesting this scenario, they warned that some routes might have to be canceled, and they warned of loss of jobs. that threat hangs in the air right now, but in the short term, the airlines have said nothing is going to change. And regardless of that, the loyalty sharing, it seems very likely, just given the fact that Delta will retain a 20% stake and given the decades of old relationship these two airlines have, that your loyalty points will be safe.
You mentioned routes. I was stunned to read in your piece that Delta has 110 daily flights between the Mexico and the United States across 70 routes.
Yeah, so that's the two together. So when you combine their shared networks and what they're jointly operating. But yes, it really, I mean, Mexico has been an immense market for many airlines, including Delta. And that, I think, reflects why the stakes are so high. I mean, American Airlines is one that has also has a strong presence in Mexico City and has complained about this and has applauded the department for recognizing, they say, this competitive situation. So the stakes are very high, to your point. The market, there's a lot of interest in Americans traveling to Mexico and vice versa, and airlines want to be able to serve that market in the most competitive way they can.
I know you heard from Delta. Did you hear from anyone from Aeromexico on their reaction to this decision by the U.S. Department of Transportation?
We did, and their statements, I would say, align pretty well. They also say that this, overlooks the benefits that the alliance has brought, but confirms that this will not affect our customers' loyalty agreements, code sharing for the moment. I think the question is, in the next few months, as that deadline approaches, what are the next legal steps that these airlines can take if they try to fight it? And if they can't, then if this actually does terminate, then what happens to the route network there? Do we see routes cutting if the airlines deem it's not as profitable for them to operate as many routes as they have been if they're not able to coordinate like this?
Yeah, they'll do the math. Emma Hurt, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Emma, great stuff as always. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Mark.
I think it's worth highlighting that this U.S. Department of Transportation measure isn't new to the Trump administration. As Emma mentioned, this started back in the Biden administration. So bipartisan from the West Wing through Biden and Trump that they want to kind of split this anti-trust exemption that Delta and Aeromexico have. By the way, Deborah, that was not AI pronouncing Aeromexico. That's me.
Oh,
that
wow.
wasn't the special AI translator. That was me going Aeromexico.
Good job.
Yeah.
It is Hispanic Heritage Month.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't believe you guys are working. If there was a Jewish Heritage Month, that'd be off all month.
The whole month, of
All
course.
right, let's give away $1,000. Ironically, I love this. I had no idea what the keyword was until I just popped open Deborah's email. But the 5K Day Bonus Blitz, your 10 a.m. keyword, ironically, is flight. F-L-I-G-H-T, flight. Enter the keyword flight into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 10:30 a.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. Keyword is flight. And don't forget, if you get a phone call after 10:30 for a number you don't recognize, answer it. It could be us telling you you won $1,000. Keyword is flight. F-L-I-G-H-T. How did that work out so well? We just covered the Delta Airlines story, and then the keyword is flight. F-L-I-G-H-T. Anyway, that's crazy how many flights that Delta and Aeromexico, 110 daily. That's insane. Isn't Peter Greenberg saying that no one's coming to the U.S., but apparently Mexicans are still coming? I don't want to get into an immigration story here, but we've covered this story for years, right? The border, the southern border. And one of the pieces of information we've learned is that folks that are coming into the country illegally sometimes will give their life savings over to mules, to
coyotes. Yeah.
Coyotes. Yeah, not mules, coyotes. Sorry, that's a separate thing. And so they'll pay like upwards of $5,000 to these coyotes to get them across the U.S. border. Now, if you have $5,000 to spend on a coyote, why don't you just get a Delta flight from Mexico City to Atlanta? Like it's still legal for Mexicans to come visit the United States, right? They're not banned. They're running 110 flights back and forth. Why pay a coyote so much money? We can get like a discount Clark Howard flight for like $120. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying, Deborah?
I do, but I think with not that I know, but just stories that I've heard,
Yeah.
because I do watch Mexican news every once in a while, is that these coyotes promise not just we're just going to cross you over the border, but like we can get you a job and you'll have a place to stay and you can do all this other stuff, and then we'll even help you with paperwork. And these people are so desperate that they'll just believe them, and they think this is a good value if we can just take care of all of it at once. It's not as simple as like hopping on a bus or a plane.
So the coyotes offer it's an all-inclusive package. Like we'll get you
Well,
across.
that's what they say.
Yeah. Not always the case. We'll get you a place to stay, a job.
Right.
And I would imagine a benefit too is like if you fly a Delta flight from Mexico City to Atlanta, say, the United States knows that you're here, right? They're like, oh, this is I'll make up a name, Francisco Longoria. Like he checks in at Hartsfield in customs, and they know that you're. But if you go the coyote route, they don't know you're here illegally.
No. Also, you have to remember some of these communities don't have the same things that we have here. Like something as simple as a driver's license. Like pretty much everyone has an ID or a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
I have extended family in Mexico still that don't need any of that. They don't carry any ID because they've just never had to use it.
Yeah.
So there's not an easy way to just book a ticket when you don't have that.
Interesting. All right, good insight there. That just occurred to me. Like, why spend so much on a coyote when you can just get an airfare here? Speaking of travel, Deborah, there's something you sent me a story today about travel inadequacy. Apparently, the younger generation is. I don't know what they feel bad if they don't travel at a young age. What exactly is the inadequacy that the Gen Zers are feeling?
So to stick with this Gen Z vernacular, it's kind of like travel FOMO, right? They spend so much time on social media and they see maybe a bunch of other influencers or anything have all these great travel experiences. And if they're not doing it, well, they feel like, well, these other Gen Zers are doing it. Why am I not doing it? And they're calling it travel dysmorphia rather than FOMO. But they just think all of my other peers are getting to do these great things and look at it on social media, and I just feel behind.
Don't feel bad about that. I didn't travel. My first international travel experience was in my early 20s, but I just went to Toronto for my cousin's wedding. It wasn't like I was on a safari in Africa. And then I didn't travel again deep into my 30s, early 40s even. I went to Puerto Rico. That's not exactly exotic locale. And I went to Aruba, but I never and that was one of the things. Ironically, Maya was like, I didn't think we'd work out because I didn't think you liked to travel. And I'm like, no, I love to travel. I'm just lazy. Like I'm absolutely lazy about it. And now Maya and I travel the globe. And she's like, I was just afraid you hated travel. I'm like, no, I need someone to book it.
Yeah, I need someone to do it for me.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos on social media where it's like, hi, I'm Sally. I booked the hotel arrangements. I booked the excursions. I booked the flight. And it's like, hi, I'm Steve. Like the husband who does. That's basically our relationship. Like Maya does everything. She books everything, plans everything. And I'm just there for the ride. But all right. For the youngers out there, don't have travel FOMO.
Dysmorphia.
Yeah, you have your whole life to do it. Don't get caught up in the game like, oh, well, Steve's going to England. Oh.
And chances are it's going to be better as you get older. 'Cause,
Yeah.
a hostel's fun when you're 21, but it's way better in a nice hotel.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm glad you mentioned that, Deborah. That's one regret I do have is that I didn't, as soon as I graduated college, I moved down here to Atlanta. I wish I had, back when I didn't know what nice accommodations were.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had backpacked across Europe and stayed in hostels. Now, I need 4,000 count Egyptian cotton sheets. No hostel for me. So maybe, but don't. Yeah, anyway, travel's great. Travel's fun. Travel's good for everyone. So is winning $1,000. You can win $1,000 right now. 5K day bonus blitz. Your keyword for 10 a.m. is flight. 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 Enter the keyword flight into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash. This guy doesn't have travel FOMO. He's traveled the globe and we're happy and lucky to have him here in Atlanta. It's Smiling Mark McKay.
Happy to be with you, Mark. Construction rolling literally on the southeast leg of the perimeter. We're watching crews make their way from I-675 up to I-20, working on that left shoulder and taking out that left lane of 285 eastbound, right before Flat Shoals exit 48. But all lanes of 285, the outer loops jam back at the I-675 interchange. See a crash on the shoulder, right shoulder, no longer in the travel lane in the DeKalb County work zone on I-20. I-20 westbound, Panola Road exit 71, still going to be slow leaving the Lithonia Stonecrest area. This report sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Smiling Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Don't wear 4 sweatshirts at home this winter because your old furnace isn't up to snuff. Get a brand new one thanks to my pals at Reliable. Hey, it's Mark Arum with you. Check this amazing offer going on right now. Any size furnace, just $59.99 a month, 0 down, low monthly payments, unbeatable lifetime warranty, next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. ReliableAir.com, book an appointment or call or text 770-594-9969.
This is Scott Slade with how a short phone call can change your life for the better. Take a few minutes and call MyLend and see if there's a way to put money in your pocket every month. There's so many options with MyLend. Here's an example. One of my friends at MyLend is looking at a reverse mortgage for his mom, who's 82. She's currently in a house that's paid for and too much to take care of by herself. So they're considering a reverse mortgage by selling her current house, then buying a smaller one by only putting 50% down and then putting the other 50% in her bank account, essentially trading homes and putting a couple of $100,000 in her pocket. If you or your parents have a similar situation, call MyLend, where the guys and gals there will put together a plan that's just right for you with no obligation. Call 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's mylend.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Residential Mortgage License C148769, located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
Let me teach you some physics. In a great big wind, the bigger and flatter the object, the more force the wind creates. Surface area times the square of the hypotenuse times wind speed divided by E equals MC squared, or some kind of math. Doesn't matter. But when storm season hits, your garage door is just standing there waiting for wind and physics to break it or dent it or send the whole thing flying down the street. And that, my friends, is science. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Modern wind-rated doors are built to withstand the forces of nature. Composite materials are stronger than the cheap old aluminum door that came with your house. And the tracks and rollers won't bend under the stress. It keeps your car safe and your insurance premiums low. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're ready. And stay in school, kids.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
If you're hearing scratching, scampering, scurrying noises in your attic, you, my friends, have squirrels. It's Mark Aram here. Getting squirrels out of your home is challenging, and you certainly need an experienced pro to do the job right. Better get Breda to kick them out before those squirrely scoundrels start running an Airbnb in your attic for all the critters in your neighborhood. And those squirrels are not leaving without a fight. Trust me, they'll chew their way back in over and over again. You need the Breda Wildlife Guarantee to cover every entry point, old and new. The other guys only guarantee the entry point they seal, so each time that squirrel chews a new hole, it'll cost you hundreds of dollars more. The squirrels, trust me, will keep coming back, and so will Breda. Under the Breda Wildlife Guarantee, you stay protected and at no additional cost. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like squirrels. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Hey, skip the hassles of traditional home sales and sell your home quickly with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Now, there's no showings, no open houses, and that means no stress for you. Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the stress, make the most money, and close in as little as 21 days. Just go to markspain.com, get your guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
10:25 on the Mark Aram Show. Straight to Capitol Hill. Former CDC Director Susan Menarez testifying in front of congressional leaders. Let's hear what she had to say.
To be nominated by President Trump and confirmed with the Senate support. Secretary Kennedy himself swore me in on July 31st, calling me a public health expert with unimpeachable scientific credentials. My tenure as CDC director lasted 29 days. Since my removal, several explanations have been offered. That I told the secretary I would resign, that I was not aligned with the administration priorities, or that I was untrustworthy. None of those reflect what actually happened.
All right, so that's happening right now. Former CDC Director Susan Menarez on Capitol Hill. We'll monitor her comments, and especially I want to know if she references the horrible shooting here in Atlanta at the CDC headquarters, where that DeKalb County police officer unfortunately lost his life. So we're going to monitor that. Big political story today, though. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announcing he is going to run for governor. Yesterday, we heard former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan announces he's running for governor. What does it all mean to the race? Political analyst Stephen Lawson going to be live in studio after news, weather, and traffic. You got 3 minutes to win $1,000, friends. 10 a.m. keyword in the 5K day bonus blitz is flight, FLIGHT. Pop flight into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/cash, and you can be $1,000 richer in mere moments. News, weather, and traffic 3 minutes away at 95.5 WSB.
This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. And Dad, you ever think we're too honest in our commercials?
What do you mean?
Like telling people we've got the best prices in Atlanta.
It all comes down to the best jewelry at the best prices.
Maybe that's why folks have trusted us since 1939.
Exactly.
In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Cue the jingle.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
This is Greg Trusinski from the Original Mattress Factory. I want to share the story of a couple I worked with recently. After receiving a quote from a competitor for a mattress, they visited OMF and found a mattress that was a great fit for them. They were so pleased with our quality and value that they ended up purchasing 2 mattresses, a box spring, headboard, and frame. Their total at OMF was roughly $400 less than what they would have spent on just the one mattress at the competitor. If you're ready to get better sleep for less, visit us at originalmattress.com.
That nagging joint pain, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's from years of hard work. Sometimes it's an old injury that just never healed right. Either way, it's been calling the shots in your life for too long. But that stops right now. I'm Mark Aram. QC Kinetics is here to flip that script. They use regenerative medicine, advanced cellular treatments that help your body heal and restore the damage in your joints, not cover it up, not cut it out, actually helping heal and restore. And the results, long-term, lasting relief. QC Kinetics, no surgery, no drugs, no long recovery, just a smarter, natural way to get your freedom back. Bring your MRIs, your X-rays, and they'll make sure you're a good candidate. Your first consultation, it's free, friends, so there's no reason to wait. Call QC Kinetics, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. Decatur, Lawrenceville, Sandy Springs, Marietta, Stockbridge, and Douglasville. Appointments available on Saturday. 770-285-8026.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Right now, Beaver Toyota of Cumming is loaded with fresh inventory, and they're offering huge savings, low financing, and all the Beaver benefits. See them on the web at beavertoyotacumming.com. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming, the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Happening right now, the former head of the CDC on Capitol Hill to discuss why she was fired.
Today should not be about me. Today should be about the future of trust in public health.
Ryan Noble's reporting this morning that according to her prepared remarks, Dr. Susan Menares will say that she was ousted for pushing back on recommendations.
Menares will tell a Senate panel that she, quote, was fired for holding the line on scientific integrity, saying the HHS secretary told her he could not trust her, as the two clashed over his efforts to reshape the CDC's vaccine advisory panel.
A spokesperson for the Department of Health and Human Services saying Menares, quote, acted maliciously to undermine the president's agenda and was fired as a result. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and isolated rain showers possible, highs around 87, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Georgia and the nation seeing a big decline in traffic deaths this year.
The encouraging trend is noted in a new report from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The group reports the lowest number of traffic fatalities since 2020. The numbers show about 613 fatalities through the end of June in Georgia, but that is down more than 13% compared to the same period a year ago. Traffic deaths nationwide are down more than 8%. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Let's go to Roswell now, where police are warning the public about the latest cryptocurrency scam. It's cost a resident more than $100,000.
The Roswell woman was tricked by callers posing as federal agents who convinced her to deposit the money into Bitcoin kiosks at gas stations. Roswell police officer Tim Lupo says these cryptocurrency scams are rising, targeting the elderly.
Because they are a trusting population and they are also less familiar with some of these new technologies.
Lupo says scammers use two powerful psychological tools:
urgency and isolation. So they will tell you that you have to act right now and that you can't talk to anyone else about what's happening.
He recommends doing the opposite: hang up, talk with someone, and verify the information. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Are you thinking about those weight loss drugs? A new study this morning finds those drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy may not work as well for people who are emotional eaters. Scientists in Japan monitored more than 90 diabetic patients, and they found that people who overate because of sight or smell of food responded well to the drugs, but the emotional motivated eater, not so much. One of the study's authors says that this may require additional behavioral or psychological support. The research suggests doctors consider the reasons behind weight issues before they start prescribing these weight loss drugs. Amazon raising its workers' pay and lowering the health care costs. The retail giant saying its average pay will increase to more than $23 an hour. They're also lowering the cost of its entry-level health care contributions to $5 a week with $5 copays. The changes will cost Amazon more than $1 billion. And while we're talking about money, the Federal Reserve expected to cut interest rates for the first time this year. Jill Schlesinger says that's despite an uptick in inflation.
The labor market is deteriorating, and there's no doubt about that. But at the same time, we see prices are starting to edge higher because of those tariffs. I think the Fed is really going to focus on the labor market. We're expecting a 0.25 percentage point drop.
And that announcement expected around 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's 10:33. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Mark McKay and the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Sabrina, we've been watching a slow roll into Midtown on I-85, leaving Georgia 400 at the 17th Street Bridge. Once you clear Georgia Tech, you're in great shape. Rolling south, only the tap of the brakes northbound into the city from 166 Langford Parkway. Watch the rolling roadblock, the rolling construction in the left lane that's blocking the left lane at 285 eastbound near Flat Shoals, now exit 48. And left lane is staying closed and will through the midday, early afternoon in Kennesaw. I-75 southbound, that road work being done at Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Smile Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with an isolated rain shower or thunderstorm possible, high 87. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with an isolated rain shower, high 88. Friday, mostly sunny, high near 90.
It is 72 degrees in Sugar Hill, 74 in Riverdale and Sandy Springs. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
It's tragic. I mean, it's unbelievable to think somebody is murdered in cold blood.
Former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan on the show yesterday after he announced he's running for governor. Tuesday and then Wednesday, we got another candidate in the governor's race. Stephen Lawson, our political analyst, breaks it down next on the Mark Arum Show.
If your basement has any issues like condensation, wet floors and walls, or musty smells, that can be a sign that your home might be due for waterproofing. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions can help. Just visit aquaguard.net and set up a free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard.
That was thousands of miles being added to your private radio network. With Southern Link, connect your private LMR radio system to Critical Link, our mission-critical LTE network, so you can communicate more easily with more people when the situation demands. Call 1-800-818-LINC or visit southernlink.com to learn more about our interworking solutions, mission-critical push-to-talk, and LTE voice and data services. Southern Link, pushing the limits of what's possible.
JIC, Flat Face Seal, BSP, and DIN. If you know what these are, then listen up.
I'm Victoria Holloway. We can replicate hose assembly on site with Mobile Hydraulics of Georgia.
Call 770-HYD-HOSE or try our website, HYDHOSE.com.
Hi, I'm Deborah Morton, host of Inside Georgia Real Estate, right here on 95.5 WSB. If you listen to my show each Saturday, we cover Atlanta's housing market and all things real estate related. So, whether you're buying your dream home or selling your current one, hiring the right agent is essential. The Agency Atlanta is the iconic brokerage that is revolutionizing real estate worldwide. We pair global resources with decades of hyper-local Atlanta market expertise to deliver results. If you're selling your home, we'll help you showcase your property and maximize your return. If you're buying, we'll guide you through every step to secure the perfect home for your lifestyle. Either way, we would love to earn the privilege of being your agent. So, if you're looking for that perfect Buckhead bungalow, that Alpharetta estate, an in-town condo, or suburban bliss, visit InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com today to connect with us at the Agency Atlanta. That's InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com.
10:37 on this wonderful Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to go live to Utah, get the very latest on the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. Right now, though, joining us live in studio, covering some big breaking political news over the last couple of days, our good friend and political analyst, Stephen Lawson. Good morning, my friend.
Great to be here, sir.
Man, this is perfect timing for you to come in because after yesterday's announcement, Jeff Duncan running, we get the word that Brad Raffensperger is running for governor, so it's apropos you're here. Let's start with the Secretary of State's announcement you heard live on Atlanta's Morning News with Chris Chandler this morning. We thought this would happen, but now it's confirmed. What do you think, if any, impact he's going to have on the race?
Yeah, and this is something that, Mark, you and I have talked about on the show for a while, right? This impending decision from the Secretary of State. He's teased it for a while, saying that he would run for higher office. He would not seek re-election. But now we got the news today. I think it's going to have a major, major impact on this race. This is someone with the potential to completely upend this race, to be honest with you. Brad Raffensperger, as your listeners will recall, in 2020, really went head-to-head with Donald Trump, got on Donald Trump's wrong side in the election aftermath of 2020, was a target of Donald Trump leading up to his reelection in 2022. And what did he do? He won his primary campaign for Secretary of State without a runoff, beat a Trump-backed challenger without a runoff, and then won by 9 points.
Dominating win.
Dominating in the general election, outperforming Brian Kemp. He was the strongest Republican candidate in the general election in November 2022. I think that speaks volumes to his capability. Obviously, this is a different political landscape that we're in right now. But look, I think it's very clear Brad Raffensperger will be a very tough out. He changes the dynamics of this race. I still think the Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones is the front runner, is the odds-on favorite. But boy, does this shake up the race, certainly.
Just from my amateur, take of the situation, the fact that Raffensperger, Secretary of State, now enters the race hurts the Chris Carr candidacy more than the Burt Jones candidacy.
Certainly. That's another dynamic, another ripple effect of this. Obviously, you have the Attorney General Chris Carr, who's been in this race since December of last year, has been able to raise a little bit of money, but hasn't caught a lot of momentum, hasn't made a lot of waves. He doesn't have the support from the base that the Lieutenant Governor has. Most importantly, he doesn't have the endorsement of Donald Trump, which the Lieutenant Governor has. So now enter Brad Raffensperger, who's going to be fishing from that same pool of voters. It really undercuts Chris Carr's, I think, viability in this race, and certainly raises questions. I think Chris Carr is now at a crossroads, and he's got to decide where do I go from here.
So Secretary of State Raffensperger, since Burt Jones has already been endorsed by President Trump, Secretary of State not going to get that endorsement. Not that he was expecting it at all, but I mean, that's the outsized influence in this race. In a lot of races is President Trump. He's not had, the infamous phone call, find me the votes, like that relationship is going to be key, I believe, in this race. And I think the fact that he is now in the race, meeting Secretary of State Raffensperger, that President Trump's going to take a special interest in this race, but maybe now more so than he would if there was no Brad in this race.
Yeah, I think it really pours gas on the fire for Donald Trump, right? It gives him another reason to potentially get engaged in this race, to support the Lieutenant Governor. But I also think it's incumbent right now on the Lieutenant Governor to keep generating momentum and get out there, connect with voters, inform them that he has been endorsed by the president. Here's the other wrinkle, though, Mark, that I think is important to keep an eye on. Brad Raffensperger is also personally wealthy. Does he put money, a significant amount of money, into that race? We're hearing rumors that he may do that. That also changes the dynamic. If he can get up on TV, telling his message, speaking to voters, that could really, again, make this a much more interesting race and something to keep an eye on.
And for better or for worse, he has a national profile where Jones and Carr do not. So if he's looking to raise money outside the state of Georgia, he's probably got, avenues that the other two candidates don't. If they all three stay in the race, there's going to be a runoff, right? I can't imagine any of Raffensperger, Jones, or Carr getting 50+1 in the primary.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch. I still think that there's a scenario where if the Lieutenant Governor continues to build momentum, run a strong campaign, that he can get to 50+1 with the Trump endorsement if he gets up on television and runs a strong campaign the rest of the way. But certainly Brad Raffensperger getting in with the national profile, with the statewide name ID, which is very expensive.
Yeah.
If he puts the money in, I do think it makes it more likely that we're looking at a runoff. And again, we are now not a 9-week runoff, a 4-week runoff. Boy, would that be a sprint next May. I
just think if all three candidates stay in, and this is maybe just me just being the sports fan going, yeah, let's get overtime. Let's get extra innings. Let's see that runoff. You mentioned statewide recognizability. That was not, I just made that up. But certainly this gentleman has name recognition across the state.
If you want to wake up in November 26th and Donald Trump be your default governor and be in charge of our schools, our legislature, our budgets, just because the Republican nominee hands the keys over, then so be it. But I think a majority of Georgians don't want to see that happen.
So that's former Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan on the show yesterday. He made the bold announcement. Obviously, he'd switched parties long ago, but he is running for the Democratic seat for governor, joining a crowded race with some big names, Estevez and Bottoms et al. What's your take on Jeff Duncan deciding to run as a Democrat?
Well, look, I've said before, I don't know if there's enough room in this race for Jeff Duncan's ego, but if there is, I think he's certainly trying to make room for it. Look, Jeff Duncan obviously is someone, as you mentioned, Mark, has been a lifelong Republican, had this epiphany where he tried to create this GOP 2.0 and sell some books. That didn't work out. Then he endorsed Joe Biden the day after the debate with Donald Trump, which was another just, head scratcher moment. Ended up endorsing Kamala Harris. That didn't go well, and now has kind of come full circle in his political epiphany to become a Democrat. Look, I think that there are serious questions about his viability. He's, really kind of a flip-flopper at this point, right? He's been a Republican. I think his new Democrat primary opponents are going to call him to task on his former support.
Oh, they already have.
They already have, right?
Yeah.
That is going to continue in earnest. His support for abortion restrictions, his support for, the Second Amendment. The list goes on, right? So the question will be, can he survive that? The other question that we've talked about, Mark, on this show, can his Democrat opponents in Keisha Lance Bottoms, Jason Estevez, Michael Thurman, raise the money to be able to not only define themselves now, but to define Jeff Duncan? That's a legitimate question.
One thing I think is working in Duncan's favor is what I call the Joe Manchin effect. So, following Joe Manchin, the senator from West Virginia's career, lifelong Democrat, I would do polls on the show asking Republicans, who's your favorite Democrat? And it was Joe Manchin, now an independent. The fact that will Democrats embrace Jeff Duncan the way Republicans kind of embrace Joe Manchin, going, all right, this is a guy that bucked his side, and now he's on our side. Does he have that Manchin thing going for him, maybe?
It's a tough hill to climb because, as you mentioned, it's one thing to like someone from another party. It's another thing to pull the lever and vote for them, right? That's the uphill battle that Jeff Duncan is going to face. Look, I think the question mark for him is, you mentioned national profile. He's clearly built a national profile. Is he able to raise a bunch of money to the point where he can define himself and introduce himself to a Democrat base? But again, I think that there are going to be lots of challenges for him. And again, as we say on the show all the time, Mark, the biggest one looming is Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
Will Stacey Abrams sit idly by and let Jeff Duncan potentially walk into this nomination to be governor? My gut is no on that. But that's going to be a really interesting dynamic to watch unfold.
I do think that we're going to see, for the candidates on the Democratic side that are already in, we're going to see kind of a circling of the wagons where Thurman, Estevez, Bottoms kind of, all shoot their ire toward Duncan and make sure that he's muted. There's a lot of stuff. I got the email from the Estevez campaign yesterday. It was a screenshot of him behind Governor Kemp signing the heartbeat bill and going, don't forget what he did as a Republican. So very interesting to see. We don't have time. I'm going to tease this for next week's Wednesday appearance of some new polling out in the Senate race in Georgia, which is kind of eye-opening. Stephen Lawson, great insight as always, my friend, online at dentons.com. Use the code word Eric, and you get the apple tartlets, the bacon wrap fillets,
the Whataburger,
and the Whataburger. And apologies from Longoria. We got to get Stephen a Whataburger Bob every Wednesday. You got to remember that. All right, good to see you, Stephen. All right, we'll come back. We're going to go live to Utah, the latest on the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. Right now, though, a live update of these Atlanta roads to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Smile and Mark McKay.
Mark, this time of morning is about construction, and we have it active in Kennesaw. Left lane knocked out. I-75 southbound, Barrett Parkway exit 269. So still a bit slow as you leave Ackworth trying to get past Kennesaw State University. Construction on the southeast leg of the perimeter still rolls in a left lane. They've held up that rolling roadblock in that left lane on 285 eastbound. Now they're holding at Flat Shoals exit 48. That's why you're on the brakes if you're leaving I-675 pointed toward I-20. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
All right, thank you. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Oh my word!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 12 p.m.
Fall is almost here, and you know what that means. Football season. Pumpkin spice, everything, if that's what you're into. And yes, bugs. Even when the calendar says it's fall, it's still hot in Atlanta. And mosquitoes, fire ants, and roaches are all out in full force. Well, at my house, we love sitting on the porch and cheering on our favorite team. But nothing ruins that faster than being eaten alive by mosquitoes. That's why I count on my Arrow Exterminators team member, Ken. He makes sure my house and yard are protected, and I don't have to think about it twice. Arrow's been family owned and operated for 61 years, and they treat their customers just like family, too. They use the most effective and environmentally friendly solutions available, and they back it all with a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. So don't wait. Call Arrow Exterminators today for your free home or business pest inspection. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com and tell them Belinda sent you.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
That nagging joint pain, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's from years of hard work. Sometimes it's an old injury that just never healed right. Either way, it's been calling the shots in your life for too long. But that stops right now. I'm Mark Ehrman. QC Kinetics is here to flip that script. They use regenerative medicine, advanced cellular treatments that help your body heal and restore the damage in your joints, not cover it up, not cut it out, actually helping heal and restore. And the results, long-term, lasting relief. QC Kinetics, no surgery, no drugs, no long recovery, just a smarter, natural way to get your freedom back. Bring your MRIs, your X-rays, and they'll make sure you're a good candidate. Your first consultation, it's free, friends, so there's no reason to wait. Call QC Kinetics, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. Decatur, Lawrenceville, Sandy Springs, Marietta, Stockbridge, and Douglasville. Appointments available on Saturday. 770-285-8026.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence.
That's the Utah Attorney General yesterday at the press conference discussing the investigation into the Charlie Kirk assassination. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Continue our team coverage. Joining us live in Utah from CBS News, Andres Gutierrez. Andres, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning, Mark.
Very interesting press conference from the AG. Interesting as after the press conference, a lot of no comments, or I'm not going to discuss further the case after he was buzzed by reporters. What were the big takeaways from the press conference from your angle?
Well, just the amount of information that came out as they're trying to build this death penalty case against Tyler Robinson, just the exchanging of those particular messages, that gave us some insight as to how long Robinson had allegedly been planning this assassination, how he was trying to ride out the cops and trying to get a hold of that rifle, thought that he could go back and retrieve some of the key pieces of evidence. But by then, law enforcement had already retrieved it, and, they already were able to extract DNA evidence off of it.
Yeah, we didn't get any clarification from the AG if the suspect is not cooperating still, if his roommate is cooperating or his family is cooperating, and wouldn't comment if anyone else might be charged in that. Is that standard protocol for an AG in that position?
Absolutely. It's they don't want to, compromise the integrity of the investigation and case moving forward. And so some of those things they'll keep close to the vest, as they did while they were executing this 33-hour manhunt. There were some details that they likely knew, but they wouldn't reveal to the public because they wanted to see what the public could give them. At the end, 7,000 tips came in. There were 200 people that they had interviewed, and I bet you that even after they captured him, as they are building this massive death penalty case against Robinson, they are still trying to probably shore up some of those 7,000 leads. Most of them probably are digital evidence that will help them piece together the timeline and bolster their case.
Andres, huge national, international story, this assassination of Charlie Kirk. You're in Utah. How are the folks in Utah handling this?
Well, I am in the hometown where he grew up, and just last night I actually was able to travel an hour and a half east of Washington County, Utah. I went to visit his aunt and uncle's house as well as his grandfather, and we're learning some more details. And from our understanding is that Tyler Robinson just last month ended up losing a cousin of his in a ATV rollover accident, and that from what family members are telling us, none of them went on camera, but off camera as we're gathering this, is they're telling us is that he was very close with this cousin. They went on hunting trips together and on camping trips, and he went to the funeral services and was having a very hard time grieving in this. Now, we're not sure if this perhaps is what triggered him and caused them to essentially carry out this plan, because in the text messages that were revealed yesterday, he said he'd only been planning this assassination for a little week. So it kind of coincides with him suffering this massive loss in his personal life. We, again, we don't know if that was the exact connection, but there were probably several contributing factors that led up to this. And now we're getting a better sense of, what was going on in his personal mind leading up to this.
Interesting. Final quick question for you, Andres. Utah Valley University, is the school open or is it closed after the assassination? Do we know?
So at this point, they are in the process of reopening it today. They have the area where the assassination occurred, they have replaced the pavers with grass. They're going to considering making that a permanent memorial, perhaps for Charlie Kirk. That's still being in discussion, but students are trying to come back to some sense of normalcy on that campus.
Andres Gutierrez, CBS News in Utah. Andres, appreciate your time. Tough story to cover, I know, my friend.
No, right. No problem, Mark. Take care.
All right. Continuous updates throughout the day on the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic, too. It's the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WSB.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Are you worried that when the temperatures drop this winter in Atlanta, your old furnace is not going to keep you warm and toasty? Fear not. My friends at Reliable have an amazing preseason special right now on a new furnace. Hey, it's Mark Aram here. Any size furnace, just $59.99 a month. Unbelievable. Plus 0 down, low monthly payments, and all future repairs, maintenance, even filters. No additional charge for life. Plus an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Incredible. Reliable offers fast furnace repairs with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, 24/7 service, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Preseason furnace special going on right now for my pals at Reliable. I want you to book an appointment right now. Go to reliableair.com and click on the Book Now button. That's reliableair.com. Or call or text 770-594-9969.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we are here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
Anyone on the roads in North Georgia knows that tractor trailers are everywhere. For my friends in the motorcycle community, a distracted big rig could change your life forever. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Steel Horse Law specializes in motorcycle accidents involving trucks, and they can protect you from big corporations and their armies of lawyers. Steel Horse Law can help you get back on your feet, medical bills paid, back to work, and your case resolved. Schedule your free accident evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. Happening right now, former CDC Director Dr. Susan Menares testifying before a Senate committee about her ouster at the nation's top health agency.
On the morning of August 25th, Secretary Kennedy demanded two things of me that were inconsistent with my oath of office and the ethics required of a public official. He directed me to commit in advance to approving every ACIP recommendation, regardless of the scientific evidence. He also directed me to dismiss career officials responsible for vaccine policy without cause.
She accuses the secretary of disregarding science and endangering Americans' health. That committee hearing still underway. Your weather for today, partly cloudy and isolated rain shower possible and a high of 87, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Well, just 24 hours after former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan enters the race for governor of Georgia, current Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announces he's running.
I'm a conservative Republican, and I'm prepared to make the tough decisions. I follow the law and the Constitution, and I'll always do the right thing for Georgia, no matter what.
Raffensperger promising to lower taxes and crack down on crime. He joins a Republican field that continues to get more crowded. It already includes Attorney General Chris Carr and Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who has already been endorsed by President Trump. WSB's Veronica Waters just now telling me that they have now sworn in a jury at the Fulton County trial of Julian Conley, the alleged gang member charged in the killing of 8-year-old Sequoia Turner. Now, prosecutors say Conley shot into the family's SUV during a 2020 protest near the burned-out Wendy's, where Rayshard Brooks was killed by police weeks earlier. A second suspect in Turner's killing has already been sentenced to 20 years in prison. Conley's trial expected to take about 2 weeks. The annual Cancer Progress Report is out. It shows the overall cancer death rate has been steadily declining since the 1990s. The report from the American Association for Cancer Research shows more than 4.5 million cancer deaths avoided between 1991 and 2023. The report credits a reduction in smoking rates, early detection, and improvements in treatment. About 18.5 million cancer survivors were living in the U.S. as of January of this year. Now, your money. The Federal Reserve could cut interest rates today for the first time this year. This would mean that you'd pay less for car loans and credit cards. Elizabeth Schultz reports the move comes as data shows a slowdown in the job market.
What the Fed is really trying to do here is to stimulate hiring in the economy amid a stalling jobs market. The Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, has acknowledged one reason that the jobs market is facing challenges right now is because of a slowdown in immigration. So take this stat. So far this year, between January and June, Data from Pew Research and the Census Bureau shows that there have been 1.2 million fewer immigrants in the workforce.
Now, the interest rate announcement expected at 2 this afternoon. It's 11:03. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good Wednesday morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now, watching a jam into and out of Kennesaw on 75, both north and southbound, trying to clear Barrett Parkway exit 269. Southbound, they've been doing that left lane construction approaching 575. And northbound, DOT is reporting they're going to be setting up that construction on 75 northbound, getting past Barrett Parkway. We expect that to be in the right lane. I'm going to keep my eyes out for that. And rolling construction in the left lane continues on the south side perimeter. 285 eastbound, the outer loop passing Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy through this afternoon. An isolated rain shower or thunderstorm possible. High 87. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with isolated rain showers. High 88. Friday, sunny skies. High near 90.
77 degrees in Smyrna. It's 75 in Milton. Villa Rica, you have 76 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I want this town to be near you.
11:04 on a ridiculously busy Newsday Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Some monster stories we're following, and we just went live to Utah. The latest on the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. President Trump meeting with King Charles right now in England. And on Capitol Hill, former CDC director Susan Menarez talking to folks about her abrupt firing.
Following week, I heard concerns that the ACIP might alter childhood vaccine schedule at its September meeting.
We're going to monitor what she has to say on Capitol Hill. Speaking of Capitol Hill, let's go there live now, updating the budget battle. Maeve Sheehy from Bloomberg News live on the Mark Aram Show. Maeve, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Swamped news-wise here, but I think maybe the biggest thing that could impact the listeners is a stopgap spending bill to keep the government open past that September 30th deadline. What's going on Capitol Hill today?
Yeah, so we're about 2 weeks away from September 30th, which is the government funding deadline. And if Congress does not act, which would mean passing that short-term stopgap bill, then the government will shut down. We're seeing a lot of conversations about this on the Hill right now. In the House, where I am currently, Republicans seem on track to pass kind of their own stopgap bill, even if Democrats don't sign on. But in the Senate, things need to be a little bit more bipartisan because they'll need actually a few Senate Democrats to sign on to move forward with a stopgap bill. So it's really getting tense around here.
Yeah, we've seen in the past the uphill battle that Speaker Johnson's had to face trying to corral everyone on his side of the aisle to vote for this. But it sounds like there won't be any or many defectors this go around.
Yeah, we're hearing from a couple people who are either, we have, for example, Congressman Thomas Massey, who sounds like he's a no, and we have a couple others who sound a little bit hesitant. But there is a lot less drama in the House GOP on this one than there has been in the past, I would say. So over the next couple of days, we'll probably see Speaker Johnson trying to work on those holdouts and really narrow it down so he can get this passed in the House.
Do we have any idea what is the text of this stopgap bill?
We do, actually. The House Republican stopgap bill, which Democrats are saying right now that they'll oppose, that came out yesterday. It's a relatively clean continuing resolution, which means that there's not too much attached to it, but there is some money for member security and actually a D.C. fix that would allow D.C. to access some of its funds that got blocked last time. So that is something that Democrats would be on board with, although they're saying that they need a little bit more to kind of sweeten the deal.
Yeah, let's talk about that member security. Obviously, this coming in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Do we know how much money is going to be relegated to protect the legislative branch in this stopgap?
Yeah, so what we saw in the stopgap was $30 million for fiscal year 2026, and that could be used for member security. It's going into existing programs if the stopgap is enacted. But this is definitely a starting point based on lawmakers I've talked to. Yesterday, a bunch of House Republicans told me they support the $30 million in the stopgap, but they want to try to get more done, maybe more of a member security overhaul in their appropriations process. So this is kind of a starting point, but not necessarily the end result.
Maeve Sheehy from Bloomberg News joining us live on the Mark Aram Show. All right, it seems like positive movement on the House side. What's going to be hold up on the Senate side, and what are the Democrats' biggest concerns there?
So the Senate side is looking pretty dicey right now. You need 60 votes to break the filibuster in the Senate, and there are only 53 Republican senators. So obviously, they need to get some Democrats on board. And right now, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who last time kind of allowed Republicans to move forward with their stopgap bill, this time he's holding a harder line, which is going to make it much harder for Republicans to kind of muscle this through. They're going to need to flip a few Senate Democrats or really go back to the negotiating table and negotiate with Democrats to give them something what they want in exchange for funding the government.
13 days away. Is there going to be enough time to negotiate, or could we actually, in actuality, see a government shutdown?
So we definitely could see a shutdown. It's definitely a possibility right now, and that's kind of what people are weighing. But there is still time to reach a deal. Democrats are saying that today they're going to release kind of their counter offer to Republicans' offer yesterday, and they're really hoping that they can hammer out something with Republicans on health care so they can get that win and also fund the government. I will say a shutdown is not necessarily good politics for anyone, and it's not really good for anyone, especially people who have a lot of federal workers as constituents.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, Maeve, great stuff as always. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm not Deborah. I'm never doubting Speaker Mike Johnson. When his back's up against the wall, he's come through time and time again with the help of President Trump. But it sounds like there from Maeve that Chuck Schumer is not going to be helpful on the Senate side. So government shutdown helps nobody, but politically could hurt both parties. Because I'm seeing Democrats saying, hey, you've got the White House, the Senate, and the Congress. How can you not pass a budget? But the 60-vote break in the filibuster bill is the key there. Interesting stuff. So I played some audio. The CDC director is still talking with congressmen and women on Capitol Hill about her ouster after 29 days. Kash Patel, I haven't seen any video yet of him on Capitol Hill, but I think he's going to be back there today. But yesterday, it was a tough day for the FBI director. Got a lot of questions over his handling of the Charlie Kirk assassination. CBS correspondent Scott McFarland reports the hearing before the Judiciary Committee got very, very heated.
Patel took heat from Democrats for his handling of the Charlie Kirk assassination probe, including a social media post in which he touted the subject was in custody, who'd later be released.
Take credit for
Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin.
That he violated one of the basics of effective law enforcement. At critical stages of an investigation, shut up and let the professionals do their job.
The FBI director made no apologies.
Yeah, he's catching some heat on the right as well for his handling of the Kirk, especially the weird at the end of the press conference when he said when he was paying his respects to Charlie Kirk, Deborah, and he's like, we've got the watch. I'll see you in Valhalla. Even Eric Erickson was like, what the hell was that? Which is, I think it's like, again, I don't know his intentions. I'm not going to try to get into his mind, but I've seen that, like, that meet you in Valhalla is like a Nordic kind of expression that's been adopted by white supremacists. But I look at Kash Patel and I'm like, that's not a white supremacist right there. So I don't know if that was an inside joke. Like, God forbid if I pass away and Longoria's got to give a press conference and he's like, I got the Whataburger watch, man. Yeah, like an inside thing. Yeah. So I'm not going to judge, but Kash Patel, I believe, is going to be back in front of that committee today. All right, Deborah, let's give away some tickets because we have 2 pairs of tickets to give away today, right?
Yep, we do. All
right, you're the executive producer. Are we going to let the winner choose, or are we?
Well,
it's up to you.
So we're not allowed to. Our ticket team does not like it if we do stuff like that.
Okay.
So we have to give away specific tickets at specific times.
All right. So specifically, tell me what's going on. What do we have?
So we are giving away a pair of tickets to see Lyle Lovett and his acoustic group at Atlanta Symphony Hall on September 28th.
All right. That's a good prize pack. Vinny, it's not you. I want the listeners to work for this one. 17th caller. 17th caller to 404-872-0750. 17th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see acoustic Lyle Lovett, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB. All right, that's going to keep Vinny off of TikTok for a couple minutes, which allows me to do this TikTok story. Is TikTok actually going to remain viable here in the United States? Hadass Gold from CNN.
We know, according to sources who have been talking to our colleagues, is that this new TikTok company will be made up of an 80% consortium of American companies and 20% of Chinese companies. Because if you remember, this law that was passed said that the company had to be taken out of Chinese ownership in order for it to be able to continue operating. Also, this company will be run by a U.S. board, U.S. majority board, and one of the members will actually even be appointed by the Trump administration. Now, we know from these sources that these three of the main companies that will be running this are Oracle, Andreessen Horowitz, and Silver Lake. And Andreessen Horowitz and Oracle are actually run by well-known Trump allies and Trump donors. One of the biggest questions, though, about this whole deal and all of these delays is what is going to happen to the algorithm.
I was waiting for the word.
Because the whole magic of TikTok is its algorithm. And it was well known that the Chinese were very resistant for the algorithm to leave China, essentially. Now we understand, this is according to the Wall Street Journal reporting, that part of this deal is that this new company will actually license the algorithm from China. And now what's going to happen is all of the TikTok users in the United States, you will be asked to download a new version of TikTok. But it should be essentially the same exact algorithm. Now, there is a question kind of what changed, what softened here. And we did hear actually from the Treasury Secretary yesterday. He suggested that another hard threat from the president about actually shutting down the app after these many delays is might have what moved the needle. Take a listen.
I will tell you what turned the tide was a call that Ambassador Greer and I had with President Trump the night after the first day of negotiations, and President Trump made it clear that he would have been willing to let TikTok go dark, that we were not going to give up national security in favor of the deal.
Now, John, there does seem to be some sort of legal gray areas, lots of questions. You were having questions about the algorithm and whether it actually being licensed complies with the law, but also these delays. If you remember, the original law allowed for one 90-day delay. We are now on our fourth delay till December 16th. Now, the whole idea of these delays was if a deal is in the works, then you can delay it. The White House has been asked about the legality of these delays, and they have all essentially said, you know, we are quite confident in the legality of it without adding any more details. But sources are still cautioning our colleagues at the White House that things could still change. Nothing is final until it's final. And President Trump and the leader of China, Xi Jinping, are expected to talk on Friday, where we should get hopefully some more cementing of this deal.
Interesting stuff, Hadass Gold this morning. So if you are a fan of TikTok, it seems like that's great news. If you despise TikTok, it seems like that's bad news. The Mark Arum Show, that's our TikTok handle, but don't expect anyone to post because I don't know what the password is. But Deborah tags me in videos. I do know that. So there you go. The latest on the TikTok news. All right. When we come back, we've got some new grocery numbers, and it's not looking good as you go to your favorite grocer. If you're about to go there for lunch and get some pick up some items, the grocery prices are going up. We'll give you the numbers after we check the traffic numbers. Construction delays in Kennesaw. Let's say hello and good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, buddy. Yeah, we're watching the volume out of Marietta into Kennesaw. I found the right lane construction, 75 northbound, getting past Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Already slow from North Marietta Parkway. We'll keep an eye on that. They had been in the left lane in the same area on 75 southbound, but looks like those barrels aren't there right now. So actually getting a little bit better southbound on 75 between Ackworth and Kennesaw. And then that rolling left lane construction continues on the south side perimeter, 285 eastbound, the outer loop, Flat Shoals Road, exit 48. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Save on fall favorites now through September 13th at Whole Foods Market, your headquarters for pumpkin spice delights, all the flavors of fall, and more. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
That's awesome. The WSB 5K a day bonus Blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. The WSB 5K a day bonus Blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 12 p.m.
That's amazing.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Get a head start on holiday home prep with help from Zerorez. It's Patrick, owner of Zerorez. Getting all of those neglected stains out doesn't require chemicals and harsh soaps. No way. ZR Water technology gets your carpets cleaner and lasts longer. Save up to $30. The more rooms you clean, the more you save. Mention WSB to secure this deal or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com and ask about our Zerorez commercial cleaning too. Zerorez. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
It's time to renovate your home, and you've got designs in your head, but will they pass code? Hire Sketchhouse Architects before you call a builder to make sure your design is up to code and zoning compliant. Hi, I'm Richard Taylor, architect at Sketchhouse. We're going to make this easy to get your ideas on paper, and Sketchhouse will connect you with multiple builders to bid on your job through the Sketchhouse Builders Network. You're going to save thousands of dollars with Sketchhouse Architects. We're going to make this easy for you. Go to sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, H-A-U-S, sketchhouse.com.
If you're a certain age, you're running to the TV right now. 53 years ago today on CBS, MASH made its debut. I'm not going to lie, man. I was, as a kid, when that the series finale with the whole country watching, that was a tearjerker. I don't even know what year that was. I was but an infant, but I remember watching that. You grew up with MASH. You heard that?
Yeah.
You heard that song?
That was bedtime for me when I heard
Yeah,
MASH.
that's time to go to bed. But yeah, I remember crying during the last episode of MASH. But anyway, it premiered 53 years ago today. Congrats to Chris in Douglasville. He won those tickets to see Lyle Lovett's acoustic performance. Coming up after the 11:30 news, we got another pair of tickets to give away. And then after the 12 o'clock news, I'm going to give you a keyword in the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Chance for you to win $1,000. You might need that $1,000 in the 5K Day Bonus Blitz because, Deborah, bad news, grocery prices are rising.
According to a report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, grocery prices have jumped to the highest they've been in the last 3 years. Fresh produce, coffee, meat, all of those have gone up. But some of the biggest ones are things like instant coffee. Tomatoes are up about 4.5%. Roast beef up 4%. Apples are higher. Lettuce is up 3.5%. And global tariffs seem to be the biggest contributor to this, as 15% of the food that we have here in the States is all imported.
So I understand beef and coffee, et cetera, but tomatoes and lettuce and apples,
Yep.
like we shouldn't be importing any of those things. Right? Longoria's backyard alone can fill us up with tomatoes.
That is true.
Right?
But is it enough tomatoes to feed everybody?
I don't know.
That's the problem.
Apples, like, Washington State apples and
That's apple picking.
LJ apples.
LJ, like, I understand some of that, like beef prices. Is it maybe there are less folks able to pick the tomatoes and the apple? Like, is that what's causing?
That could be part of it. I just don't think that, like, a farm, an American farm can probably produce as much as the whole country needs, and we rely on other countries to do that. And everything's not in season here. That's why we import so much.
I'll tell you what, though. I feel bad for a lot of the farmers in the heartland. For the last decade or so, they've been making their nut selling soybeans to China. And China has bought 0 soybeans from the United States this year because of the trade war. And there are, I don't know, I think it's like 33% of soybean farmers might not be able to hold on to their farm next year because, well, they were growing and it was profitable to sell. Listen, China's going to buy our soybeans, so let's grow the soybeans. And China's like, no, we're done with your soybeans. And Americans are like, soybeans, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, there's all kinds of alternative uses for soy too, and a lot of agriculturists and farms would alternate their crops. So, like, if you grow corn, the next year you'd put soy there, so to keep the soil healthy.
Okay, interesting. So this was unfortunately a soybean year for those farmers if they were alternating, and now they're stuck with. We got to find a way to buy these soybeans and turn them into something. Coca-Cola's new soybean Coke or something.
The new Trump soybean.
Yeah, that's horrific. And I know they got a bailout a couple years ago. Did the farmers? I don't know if another one is coming down the pike, but I've been seeing these horror stories of these farmers in the Midwest that grew all these soybeans, and no one's buying them now. And Americans are like, what do you want us to do with soybeans? I don't have time for this, but remind me, Deborah, I want to talk about the Gen Z story.
Right.
The outside time story from Gen Zers. I am backing up the Gen Zers on this one, so I'm just going to tease it. Sometimes I'm very critical of Vinny's generation, but I don't blame them for not spending enough time outside like we did as Gen Xers and Boomers. But that'll come up in the next segment. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, more tickets to give away, and we are going to talk tech with the one and only Kim Komando, monitoring President Trump's visit to the UK right now. A military ceremony going on outside of Windsor Castle. Very impressive. We'll update that as well next on The Mark Arum Show.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
How about this for a 1-2 punch? Get your own natural hair regrowing the very next day and save a ton of money doing it. Mark Arum, of course, back from my friends at Advanced Hair. What makes them different? Well, they combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. This is not a pill or a lotion subscription that helps retain what you have. You want your hair to regrow where it's currently gone. Whether you have a receding hairline, bald spot, or thinning hair, Advanced Hair offers the proven, guaranteed solution that regrows your hair where it's currently gone. Your real hair begins to regrow the very next day, and it's even guaranteed to grow for life. And how about this amazing deal? If you get a consultation, free consultation, by the way, and you move forward, you get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. That's a lot of savings and a lot of hair. Schedule now, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow.
This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. And Dad, you've got to admit, our history is pretty cool. 86 years, 3 generations of love stories.
What keeps us going is that we've still got the best jewelry and diamonds at prices nobody can beat.
It all comes down to the best jewelry, best service, and best prices at D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on fresh Heritage Farm boneless chicken breasts. They're on sale for only $2.69 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Don't wait any longer. Visit aquaguard.net today to book your free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard. Selling and buying a home doesn't have to be a juggling act. With Orchard, you get cash up front to buy your next place, then more cash when your old home sells. Start with a free home valuation at orchard.com. That's orchard.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage, our top local story.
I am not here as a politician. I'm here as a scientist, a public servant, and a parent committed to protecting the health of future generations.
The former head of the CDC is testifying right now before the Senate about why she was fired by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Kennedy said that he let Dr. Susan Menares go last month because he could not trust her. Menares pushing back on claims that she lied about being fired over refusing to pre-approve vaccine recommendations. Senator Rand Paul questioning her about that.
The burden is upon you and the people you wouldn't fire to prove to us that we need to give our 6-month-old a COVID vaccine and that we need to give our 1-day-old a hepatitis B vaccine. That's what the debate ought to be about, not whether all vaccines are good or whether we live in Alice in the Wonderland.
I actually agree with you, and I was open to the science. I just would not pre-commit to approving all the ACIP recommendations without the science.
Untrue.
Now, today's hearing comes one day ahead of a 2-day meeting of the Vaccine Advisory Panel. They will be considering several vaccines, COVID-19 one of them, as well as those against hepatitis B, measles, mumps, and rubella, as well as RSV. We'll be watching the hearing for you today. Partly cloudy and isolated rain showers possible and a high of 87. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. You might want to avoid the area around one busy Midtown intersection for the next month.
That's because new sewer pipes are going in all around the intersection of Piedmont and 10th Streets Northeast. Atlanta Watershed Management Head Greg Irely says sewer overflows there, and Uncle Sam mean there's no choice.
We're actually required to do this work by the federal government by a specific date.
Irely says the work means lost lanes, whole intersections, and parking at times, but with big events coming up in the area.
This is kind of our only window to really get in there.
Work is 7 to 7 Monday through Saturday and should be done by late October. Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB.
Well, just 24 hours after former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan entered the race, current Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announcing he's going to run for governor as well.
I'm a conservative Republican, and I'm prepared to make the tough decisions. I follow the law and the Constitution, and I'll always do the right thing for Georgia, no matter what.
Raffensperger promising to lower taxes and crack down on crime. He joins a Republican field that continues to get more crowded. It already includes Attorney General Chris Carr, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who has already been endorsed by President Trump. All right, if your kids are playing fall sports, then this might be a story you're interested in. A new study today finds head injuries from contact sports can cause brain cell loss long before the onset of CTE. Jonathan Cherry and his team at Boston University studied the donated brains of dozens of men under the age of 50, and what they found is the brains of those who had played contact sports shocked them. Inflammation, loss of brain cells, blood vessel damage, even in the men who never developed CTE. He says that repetitive head impacts cause brain injuries much earlier than researchers first thought.
Using a lot of imaging techniques, there's ways where we can look at the brain and see these changes. They're not prime time yet, but they're definitely getting really close where we can identify people who might have these things with imaging and taking blood tests essentially as well.
He says we have to rethink our approach to youth sports. A Federal Reserve expected to cut interest rates for the first time this year. Jill Schlesinger says that's despite an uptick in inflation.
The labor market is deteriorating, and there's no doubt about that. But at the same time, we see prices are starting to edge higher because of those tariffs. I think the Fed is really going to focus on the labor market. We're expecting a 0.25 percentage point drop.
And ahead of that announcement this afternoon at 2 o'clock, let's take a look at the markets. The Dow in positive territory, up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ is down more than 0.5%, and the S&P is also in the red slightly. It's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather, brought to you by Finley Roofing. Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center.
Watching the mess between Marietta and Kennesaw, Sabrina. It is all due to that construction in the right lane. 75 northbound, passing Barrett Parkway. You're stacked up as you leave North Marietta Parkway, so be mindful of that. Southbound a little slow, but I'm not seeing that left lane construction right now between Chastain and Barrett Parkway. Rolling construction continues on the south side perimeter. They're rolling in the left lane. 285 eastbound, the outer loop. Right now they're right around Flat Shoals, exit number 48. And a few brake lights in Lithonia. I'll check on this one. I-20 eastbound, passing Panola Road, exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with an isolated rain shower or thunderstorm possible, high 87. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with an isolated rain shower, high 88. Friday, mostly sunny, high near 90.
79 degrees in Decatur, 76 in Conyers. It's 76 in Johns Creek. More news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Eric Erickson.
Informative and topical when you want
And
it.
he's involved in keeping Chinese communist students at American University.
And a break when you need it.
I forgot to leave food out for the cat. Can you go check on the cat?
Eric Erickson.
By belittling other people, you show your tribal loyalty.
Today, starting at noon, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Today should not be about me. Today should be about the future of trust in public health.
That's ousted CDC Director Susan Manera. She's on Capitol Hill. We'll monitor that. Deborah's got tickets to give away, and we'll talk tech with Kim Commando next on The Mark Arum Show.
By executive order from Rufus, the Finley Roofing chief barking officer, they're rolling over. Rolling out a $1,000 discount on your Finley roof replacement. Hey, it's Dave Baker for the only roofer I answer the door for, Finley Roofing, the roof guys. Stop repairing the leaks and dragging your feet. Now is the best time to replace that old, leaky, haunted roof and save 1,000 bones. Finley has replaced over 65,000 roofs locally. That's no trick. It's just high-quality work, upfront pricing, and exceptional service. Finley goes the distance. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof replacement experience. Finley also has 0% financing available, and for a limited time, you can save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, you need to shake on this deal by Halloween. Schedule your free roof analysis at FinleyRoofing.com.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, friends, have you filed an insurance claim for a roof replacement only to be denied? Are you not sure what to do? You're not alone. Dr. Roof here to help. Hey, it's Mark Arum. Dr. Roof specializes in reviewing the storm damage and getting your roof replaced. They've been around for over 37 years and can help you with all of your options. Don't settle for a denied or partial insurance claim. Get the roof you deserve with Dr. Roof, online at drroof.com.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. I recently had two sets of customers who had vastly different stories. One had purchased elsewhere 3 years ago and spent $5,000, and the other had purchased from OMF 12 years ago and spent $1,000. The difference? Our customer's mattress lasted 4 times longer and cost them 5 times less. Don't waste money on overpriced, overhyped mattresses. Visit the Original Mattress Factory for unbeatable quality and value. Sleep better, longer, for less.
11:38 on the Mark Arum Show. Reminder right after the new news, I'm going to give you a keyword in the 5K a day bonus blitz. Another chance for you to $1,000 here on WSB. Don't have to wait 30 minutes to win, though, Deborah. Got an amazing prize pack to give away.
Tickets to see the B-52s and Devo at Ameris Bank Amphitheater on October 25th.
You say B-52s and Devo?
And Devo,
Wow. Yep. Okay. Ninth caller to Vinny Drip at 404-872-0750. Ninth caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see the B-52s and Devo, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and WSB.
She's a lady.
Whoa. Joining us live on the show, our good friend, the weekend warrior, the tech guru, Kim Komando. Kim, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Fabulous, Mark. Thanks for asking.
As always, you're fabulous. I really appreciate your insight because you obviously have been covering that horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk in Utah. And, we've been hearing about messages left on Discord and social media posts. As someone that covers the tech industry, what were your big takeaways from what we heard from the FBI Director Kash Patel and the Utah Attorney General?
That people just don't know how the internet works.
Okay.
That whether this is true or they're just twisted internet weirdos, is that they went on Discord and on X and other places on the internet thinking that maybe it wouldn't be difficult to connect the dots and actually identify who they are. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, one person on X wrote on September 3rd, it'd be funny if someone like Charlie Kirk got shot on September 10th, LMAO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another post early August said, September 10th will be a very interesting day. And then when the news broke, one of the accounts said, we effing did it. Another replied to their own post said, I plead the fifth. It's just wild to me that we have this type of dissemination of information, that these groups get together and they openly have this communication, but for some reason, sites like X and Discord, that if somebody says, wouldn't it be funny if somebody got shot, is that it doesn't get flagged.
Yeah. Now I'm familiar with. I don't have Discord, but I'm familiar with it because it's kind of popular in the baseball card collecting community. For folks that are listening that have no idea what Discord is, can you just give us a thumbnail explanation of what kind of an app it is?
It was originally designed for gamers, so that this way they could have real-time chats while they were gaming. Since then, it has broken off into where you could have your own basic little community if you want. Whether it's treating baseball cards or getting flight tips or whatever it may be, or in this case, people who are transgendered or gay, they created their own subset of a gaming community, and where they openly communicated their personal thoughts about not only Charlie Kirk, but memes and other things that they would find interesting. Primarily in this group, from what I've read, is that these were young males who were just openly discussing this, and when you see the screenshots, you just I'll tell you, I just shaking my head. I was in Europe last week, and one of the stops that I made was at the Brandenburg Gate. I've never seen it. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the wall in Berlin, and right in front of the American Embassy, I mean, here we are in Berlin, is a whole memorial for Charlie Kirk.
Wow. That's very telling. The international reach that Charlie had. Kim Komando joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. One more follow up on the Discord thing. So we heard from the FBI director Kash Patel. I guess a lot of these messages were deleted off of Discord and text, but the technology's there that even if you delete
You can just get
something,
them back.
it's not a hard thing. I want to ask you about AI because. Obviously, I am at the age where I'm very conscious of my 401k, how it's performing as they get closer to retirement age. People are using AI to dissect their 401k and get investment advice?
Well, and see, this is really interesting because we all talk about using AI to maybe write a report or an email or something like that. But if you are wondering how your 401k is actually performing, maybe you don't have the best mix of investments and sneaky fees can be quietly draining your money. I mean, do what I did. You use AI to get a second opinion. So basically what you do, and I want you to do it the safe way, is you log into your 401k brokerage account, and then in Chrome, just type in doc.new in the address bar because that'll open automatically a new Google Doc. Now, in this doc, put a list that includes the names, the ticker symbols of your investments, the percentages that you have, and any listed fees, or they might call it expense ratios. I don't want you to share your account numbers, your dollar amounts, your login info. Okay, AI does not need that. Then you can ask your favorite AI assistant, ChatGPT, whatever, here are the funds in my 401k. Does this look like a good mix for someone who's 50 years old or whatever it may be? And that's where you can get a plain English breakdown. You also want to look for those fees. So like what are those expense ratios for these funds and how much is it going to cost me over, say, the next 10 years? And if your financial advisor recommends a change, say my advisor recommends switching, what are the pros and cons? Now, it is okay to give a rough estimate of the amount.
Okay.
This way it will help estimate that. But, again, don't give your account numbers, personal details. And always ask AI to explain complex terms. I mean, maybe you're not a certified financial analyst. No, I'm not. And so you ask AI to say, what is a target date fund in plain English? Like, talk to me like I'm in 8th grade. So even if you think like a 401k is something that's too far for you to run,
AI can dumb it down for you.
Yes, that AI can get in there, and you also, if you're thinking about buying a stock, ask about the pros and cons. Ask it to analyze it. Now, if you're using ChatGPT, there's a plus sign, and if you hit that plus sign, that's where you can do something called deep research, and that's where you can ask it a whole bunch of questions, and then it'll go out and do all the research and then come back to you and answer all your questions.
Interesting. Now, one other related AI story. I mentioned this yesterday on the show. So I'm a big fan of Downton Abbey, and I went to the movie. And
you did?
Yes. So I saw the movie, and my dog has seen the show as many times as I have because she's always sitting next to me as I'm watching it. So I posted a video on social media of me explaining the movie to my dog because she couldn't go to the theater, and I was going to post it to Instagram, and it said enable translation, and I'd never seen that before. I was like, all right. It's like, yeah, if people want to listen to it in Spanish, they can. And this is what it spit out.
Entonces la gran noticia es que Lady Mary se divorció, como si fuera un gran trato. Como un trato realmente grande.
Like that's my voice speaking Spanish.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy. So, I mean, this is apropos for you because Deborah, our producer, was like, hey, we can now post our podcast in multiple languages. You could probably do the same thing, like Kim Komando in Japanese.
Yes. We're actually looking into that. And one of the things that we have done is that I have 2 new employees, and they are the best employees. They never ask for a raise. They show up to work on time. One is George, and the other one's Lily. And George and Lily are the hosts of my newsletter called The Current, are the hosts of the Current podcast. And George is AI, and Lily is AI.
Wow.
And it's pretty crazy. And it took a while to get there. But just like you were saying, that now with George and Lily, we were just in a production meeting yesterday. We're like, we can have them speak 7 different languages. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
And if you do translate your posts into Spanish, particularly, is that you can the average number of increase of views on your reels is about 3 times.
Goodness gracious. All right. So I no longer need Deborah to translate. AI's good. And that was my voice speaking Spanish. Crazy stuff. Kim, always a pleasure. We'll listen to you this weekend, my friend.
You betcha. Thanks,
There
Mark.
you go. The legendary Kim Commando. Hey, congrats to Lance in Buford. Want a pair of tickets to see the B-52s and Devo, courtesy of the Mark Aram Show. Your chance to win $1,000 coming up after the new news and the 5K day bonus splits. Right now, let's check winners and losers on Atlanta's roadways. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
Definitely not winning if you're trying to head up toward Kennesaw and Ackworth, Mark. It's all due to right lane construction. 75 northbound, getting past Barrett Parkway, exit 269. Already way slow back in the Marietta, almost from South Marietta Parkway. Might want to consider Highway 41 Cobb Parkway as an alternate. 2 trouble spots, south side perimeter. Just found a crash. A couple of the right lanes blocked by the airport. 285 westbound, the inner loop at Riverdale Road. And then over into Cab, you have rolling construction. That's in the left lane, 285 eastbound, the outer loop passing Flat Shoals, exit 48. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. Dad, we're celebrating 86 years in Atlanta this month. And people are always asking how you've kept our prices so low.
Well, I haven't bought a new suit since 1982.
I don't think that's it.
We go straight to the source. Diamonds, jewelry, gemstones. There's no better value than D. Geller & Son.
In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
Let me teach you some physics. In a great big wind, the bigger and flatter the object, the more force the wind creates. Surface area times the square of the hypotenuse times wind speed divided by E equals MC squared, or some kind of math. Doesn't matter. But when storm season hits, your garage door is just standing there waiting for wind and physics to break it or dent it or send the whole thing flying down the street. And that, my friends, is science. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Modern wind-rated doors are built to withstand the forces of nature. Composite materials are stronger than the cheap old aluminum door that came with your house. And the tracks and rollers won't bend under the stress. It keeps your car safe and your insurance premiums low. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're ready. And stay in school, kids.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 10/21/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited intra-line applied via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data and service series. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Q1 to Q2 2025.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Bum, 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 bum. 59 years ago today, Mission Impossible, the TV show, premiered on CBS. Hot take, the TV show better than the Tom Cruise movies. That's just me. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. It's a mission impossible to get Gen Zers to play outside. New data shows, Deborah, the Gen Zers do not like going outdoors.
No, Gen Zers spend about 25% less time outside than the Gen X does, averaging about just 49 minutes a day, and most of that, it means commuting for them. Why don't they want to go outside? Well, they say they don't like the weather. They just don't have enough time in the day. They don't want to be by themselves. That's kind of what keeps Gen Z inside.
Now, I think it's just because they were the way they were brought up, right? As a Gen X kid, I spent a majority of my childhood outside, whether it was playing wiffle ball, basketball, roaming through the woods. And I enjoyed it. But there was nothing to do inside the house. There was no distractions to, we had 3 TV channels and that was it. And so there's nothing inside unless you had a cool toy. You want to go outside and play outdoors. Gen Z, they had the internet. They had PlayStation. They have iPads and iPhones. And so if you go back to 1981 and you give me a PlayStation or Netflix, chubby Mark Arum's probably not running around the woods. I would have, as much as I want to be like, oh, no, it was, I love the outside, but drinking from the water hose. No, if I had Netflix and PlayStation, chubby Mark Arum, husky Mark Arum, would have been on the couch like Gen Z. So I don't blame them. I could try to be high and mighty and be like, I would still go outside. Nah, I'd be playing Madden, binge watching my favorite shows like Mission Impossible or MASH. So I'm going to give Gen Z a break on this. They should go outside more often and touch grass, as they say. But I know that's one time where Gen Z, that's how they were brought up. I blame their parents. I blame the Gen X parents of Gen Z for not making your kids go outside.
Yeah, our parents would always say, don't come back until dinner's ready.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see your face until dinner's ready. I think that was an exact quote from Mama Arum.
Longoria's Fact of the Day.
All right, today is National Monte Cristo Day. The sandwich gained significant popularity in the U.S. after the Blue Bayou restaurant in Disneyland began serving it. You like a Monte Cristo?
No.
Whoa.
I almost threw up in my mouth.
Really?
I don't like that sandwich.
Is it because it's sweet and savory?
Yes.
You don't like sweet on your meat?
No. Like, give me a ham and cheese sandwich.
Right.
And a side of French toast. Separate them.
Okay.
Don't put them together.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's gross. And then if people put jelly on them or dip them in syrup or both. And
Bennigan's used to have the best one.
Bennigan's. Wow. I think Longoria just won star of the show with a Bennigan's reference. You were trailing through 3 hours.
And now,
But Bennigan's brought it. The Turkey O'Toole.
Yeah. Deborah, you did so much work today, but look what Longoria just dropped a Bennigan's reference. He gets the star of the show. Deborah, you get one as well. Great stuff as always. Peter Haralambous joined us live from New York City, updating the Luigi Mangione court hearing. Political analyst Stephen Lawson, fantastic insight from Stephen on the two new candidates for governor that broke in the last 2 days here. Jeff Duncan and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. We believe the Secretary of State will be live in studio next week here on the Mark Arum Show. Andres Gutierrez from CBS joined us live from Utah, the very latest on the Charlie Kirk assassination, and new information there from Andres that the assassin, the alleged assassin, lost his cousin in an ATV accident a couple weeks ago. And maybe that, I mean, not for justification, but maybe that played in what he did. I don't know, but it was new information there. Maeve Sheehy from Bloomberg News on the possible exit ramp to avoid a government shutdown. Kim Commando joined us. I think that's it. I think those are all the stars of the show. Well, Vinny's not here, so I'm going to give one to me and not Vinny, so he doesn't know. Don't tell him. I just sent up to get a package so I could distract him. Tomorrow on the show, it's basically a 1990s HBO and NBC show. Patrick Warburton, Putty from Seinfeld's going to join us live, and Kyle MacLachlan from Sex and the City is going to join us. Plus, obviously, covering the big stories of the day. So big stuff tomorrow, and the return of the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Speaking of which, I'm going to give you a keyword in mere minutes. Another chance for you to win $1,000. Social media is active throughout the day, whether I'm inside or outside. At Mark Arum, MarkArum.